Blackline Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Good to see you. I know it's only been a few hours. I did a show earlier today, but welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and tonight we got a special guest, Mason. I know you just said it. It's Lemme?
Lemme, yes, sir.
I did it right. All right. I was like, oh, no, as we're about to go live, I was like, shoot, no, I remembered the way I said it before. No, Lemme. Mason Lemme, who was a student volunteer at one of the chapters at you said San Marcos, right?
Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas. Yes, sir.
There you go. And I've seen a lot of your stuff on X, and then I just found out that you have a YouTube channel as well, which I'm going to, like, as we get along, I'll plug both for people to go follow you and to subscribe to your YouTube channel. I was interested because, like, initially, I think the first one I saw, I don't know that I saw the one with you on the couch. Was that like the very first one where you're like, sit it down?
With the signs.
Like, yeah, with the signs. Yeah,
that was my video when I quit Turning Point. So I wrote an 18-page letter to my chapter, handwritten, and then I typed it up on my computer, and then I read it to the camera. It was like a 45-minute video. But yeah, that one was crazy. Just without getting too much into it, it got like 60,000 views within like a day and a half, and then it got like mass reported. Had to have been by Turning Point because it got censored as graphic and violent, even though there was no graphic or violent stuff, and there was just me talking on a couch. But
wait, was that posted to YouTube or X or Instagram or where?
I posted it on YouTube, yeah.
And it got censored?
Yeah, if you go on it still, I can't send a link to it because it says 18 plus for graphic, violent stuff. So it got taken off the algorithm. Can't share it. You have to go to my channel and click on it manually because they mass reported it because they were pissed about it. I know they were, just because I was saying a lot.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's just at Lemme_react.
At Lemme.
Should be an underscore, yeah.
I hate it. I just put new batteries in this thing and it's so finicky. At Lemme. There it is. Wait, no, that's someone else. Lemme_react. Okay, there it is. I got it. I'm gonna pull it up.
Cool.
I'll just go ahead and do the plug now. And then, because I wanted to see, because it's on your, here, let me pull it up real quick. Bam. Bam. There we go. You guys, so this is Mason's YouTube channel. So it's here. It's at Lemme. So LEMME_react. Make sure to go give him a follow or a subscribe on YouTube. On X, you give him a follow. It's like this one right here in the center, yes, right?
Sir, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
so
then
if you click on that, it's going to say 18 plus.
What?
Yeah, crazy. With less than 2 days, that happened.
Did you? Oh, so you're probably not monetized yet, right? So you wouldn't have gotten a notification where they're like, this video cannot be monetized, right? Because are you monetized yet or no?
Yes, but not when I posted that. But it never said anything about monetization. It literally just said we censored it because the content was graphic. So
usually what will happen too is that they're going to say that they could only have limited ad rolls on it because of the graphic nature of it, and that some advertisers don't want to be affiliated with it. Like one of the things that happened to me was there's this guy, Chris Mortensen. He's in this space. He's like a doctor. He did like ballistic tests of 30-06 into ballistic gel. And on a live, I played a video of a video and they cut me and they dinged me because they were like, you broke the guidelines for showing like a weapon. But I get it because of if you know what just happened with Perez Hilton and like things that people do live, they're really, finicky about showing things live. But yeah, that's interesting that you just were talking on a couch showing a sign.
And the interesting thing was because like I've had like copyright, whether it's music or whatever, it'll say sometimes like, okay, you have the option to cut this segment out, mute this segment, or just whatever. It gave me no option to appeal, cut out anything. It was literally just censored for graphic content 18 plus. And I was like, oh, okay.
Did you play the casket scene?
No.
Okay, because they did that to I did one video a while back where I was like covering weird behavior of Erika Kirk. And obviously one of the first things that we saw that was super bizarre that she did was filming herself inside the casket. And all I did was play the part that's on like other people's channels. Like
it's on hers. It's on hers.
So I don't understand. And they're like, this video, I didn't have the chance to appeal. I didn't have the chance to edit it and cut it out. It just took the video down, and it's just, I can't even touch it. So
yeah, weird.
You know, they're definitely protecting Erika and TPUSA, and I don't put it past them for trying to, like, if they have an option to like strike a channel, like for, you know, breaking guidelines and like, I don't know, calling them out or something. I wouldn't put it past them. Going back.
Yeah. I laid it all out. Like up until April, all my opinions from everything, just my investigation. Literally, I worked on that video for weeks. And it was just the culmination of everything from the past month. So everything up until April. Like I've had some things that have changed kind of, but not really. It's kind of just
I don't know if you're going to be able to, but if you can you go through like, so what it was that made you decide to write that letter and then to leave and then to film that video?
So I was DM'd on Instagram by it was the Turning Point students account. They have like, I don't know, 200,000 followers or whatever. It's just like one of their branches, like how they have like Turning Point Action, Turning Point Faith, and then the students one. So they DM me and they're like, hey, we'd love for you to be a content creator for us. Would you like to join our program and whatever? And this was in early February. So this was right after Candace dropped the Zoom audio and the Zoom video of Erika. It was 6 days after he was assassinated and then the day after the funeral. And I'll get into that a little bit, but this was in early February. And I called my dad and I was like, I don't know like what I should do, because at that point I had only put out one single video slightly criticizing Erika. And it was just some stuff about Candace, like her telling her to stop back then or whatever. That was it. And I told my dad, I was like, I don't know. Cause if I'm speaking on behalf of them, if I'm doing content on behalf of them, I feel like it's restricting like my free speech, because if I want to criticize Erika or Turning Point, I can't do that if I'm like working for them. So I thought about it for a couple weeks and more stuff came out about Erika, just looking into everything. And to go back to the audio and Zoom stuff, that was really my turning point, honestly, with her. Like, obviously there was the casket thing. There was like, I was at the funeral in Glendale at the time. Some of that stuff didn't even seem that weird to me, but hindsight, a lot of it does.
Memorial, right? The memorial.
Yeah. The memorial funeral.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, that was the Zoom stuff was really my turning point with her. So I decided to just, cause I felt like I had so much stuff on my camera roll, like screenshots, video stuff, interview stuff. I was like, bro, if I'm trying to talk to somebody, I'm like scrolling through my camera roll. I was like, I'm just going to get every single thing I have, every single thought that I have, put it into one video. My initial thought was let's make a 3-minute video. Let's make a reel for Instagram. And it turned into a 45-minute video. So I wrote that letter in very good faith as well, because at the end of it, I mentioned 2 women. It was, I forget their exact titles. It was the regional manager and then some other person. They both work like at HQ, or they coordinate with HQ. And I know they didn't agree with a lot of my statements. They still work there, but I put their names in the letter. I said, these 2 women have genuinely opened my eyes to the political world and their passion I respect, and everything I respect them. They both want to follow me on Instagram. They both want to talk to me. And I sent them the video. I was like, hey, really appreciate what you guys have done for me. Really appreciate working with you guys. Would love if you guys watch this. And I think like one of them out of the 4 people in the group chat responded, because I sent it to our VP, our president, and then 2 of the regional people. I know one of them works at HQ. Her title's in the video and the letter, but it really blew my mind. Last thing I'll say just about all that is the only people I've ever in past years, the only people that have ever really cut me off over politics is liberals. After Candace started speaking out about stuff, people started criticizing Erika, Turning Point. I've never seen that from conservatives or Republicans. The amount of people that cut people off because of politics, they're like, oh, you watch Candace Owens, oh, you're a satanic, demonic, evil person for criticizing a widow. I'm like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, it's my opinion. Like, you're gonna block me. You're gonna, like, I have another story that we can get into in a little bit. I had someone rage call me over stuff, but just the behavior from some of these people, it honestly blew my mind. I'll say that. If you're going to speak out about something and it's controversial, I mean, you're expecting backlash from people, but from people that you've worked with and that you've known for years or months that were on your side at one point for a long time, it really opened my eyes to how psychotic people have gotten over this stuff.
Yeah, I agree that a lot of the tactics that we typically would see from the left, and it's funny that they kind of now they're saying this horseshoe analogy that the woke right and the far left is this horseshoe and we're meeting in the middle, and it's like that we're doing the things, but it's really they want to limit our free speech. They're telling us to not only not ask questions, but not like say anything, right? And they engage in a lot of the tactics that we had traditionally seen from those that Charlie Kirk opposed, you know? And it's like,
Absolutely.
These are now people on his show and his wife and people affiliated and working at Turning Point doing the very same thing. And I agree. So one of the, and no pun intended, I thought it was very good for you to use that term, turning point for me, because initially, so we have the casket scene, right? Then we have her come out on the show with like Mikey McCoy and all them, where she's dressed in the white suit and she's got the necklace in her hand, and she's like addressing everyone for the first time. And she comes out, she waits for the camera to come on, and she then prays under her breath while the camera's rolling. She could have prayed with her staff before running the camera. She didn't. It was a performative thing she did. And there was other things in there where she like touches the chair and she's dangling the necklace off, on the chair. She whispers this chair. It was like a continual, gradual, growing concern that I had. The more that she spoke and the more things that she did, made me more suspicious of her. And then, yeah, for sure, those two Zoom calls, the audio one and then the video one that Candace released, for sure did it, where she's like jovial and excited and talking about, the numbers and the merch and the money.
Yeah, like it's just like Candace dropped, if I'm remembering correctly, she dropped those like January 27th and 28th. It was like back-to-back days. So it was like, boom, like it was like a 1-2 punch. So
yeah,
it's just crazy because I wasn't just in Glendale for the memorial thing. I got in the stadium. Like I went with my dad, and still to this day, like we still talk about it. We're like, yeah, we know Erika and all them, they lie. It's all crazy now. But still to this day, that was the most incredible experience I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like that event was a life-changing event. I truly believe that it was a revolution for the Christian faith. It was a revolution for conservative politics, and it really brought people together, even from the left. Like a lot of people on the left I've had tell me like, dude, I left like Democrat politics and the left because I saw them celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk. And this is just my opinion. I think that what they orchestrated and what they wanted to happen was they wanted the world to be like, yo, Turning Point is awesome. Every high school, every college in the country needs to do this, and because it's what Charlie would want. And that would have worked if they didn't lie consistently, because the amount of things that Erika, Blake Neff, Andrew Colvette, Mikey McCoy, Jack Posobiec, all these people have just continuously lied. And I put a bunch of things in my letter, but you're going to lose a lot of people no matter what side they're on when you're being untruthful blatantly. Because I said this to a bunch of people. Charlie Kirk's channel on YouTube has almost 6 million subscribers. The Charlie Kirk Show averages about 5,000 views per video.
Now,
so,
yes, correct.
Yeah,
now, yes.
Now. So thinking about that is actually wild, because
it's insane.
You would think that it would not even just like go up. You'd think it'd be just like somewhat interesting to people. 5,000? It's the most prolific assassination in the history of the world, in my opinion, because obviously like there's more gruesome stuff probably in like ancient times, but everybody saw this on TikTok within 30 minutes of it happening. People saw this across the world within 10 minutes. So in my opinion, it's the most gruesome assassination ever, just because of how public it was.
Yep.
And you're telling me the very show on the very channel that he ran is getting little to no viewers? Like my channel, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it gets like half of that for my lives that I do. So it's not like I got you, or I'm better than you thing. It's in my opinion that, not even just my opinion, it's been proven that they lie all the time. Yeah. And we can get into some of that, whatever
for sure.
Next thing you got, but it pisses me off because it's something that somebody built and fought so hard for, and the very people that were around him obviously backtrack his statements on stuff, lie about stuff, can't remember where they were on certain days, trash people and fire people like Aubrey Leitch for even just saying, hey, I think this, or I believe this. Blows my mind. So sorry, that's a little rant, but that's fine.
No, you're good. I love it because it's also it makes me think of things. And I think your point is like dead on. For out of 6 million followers, subscribers on that one channel, and they have like 5. They have like all these different ones. They have Turning Point Education, TPUSA Faith. They have the Charlie Kirk Show, Real America's Voice. They have so many. They have them on Instagram, X, TikTok, right? But Charlie not only had amassed this following, he had built the trust of this following and all of us. And people tuned in daily to watch him because they believed him and he was authentic, genuine, and honest, right? And you would think that people that take over that same organization that were there when he was alive and his wife would continue with the truth telling and with his legacy, like they say all the time. But the proof is in the pudding, right? Like us in the public have voted unanimously. If people were showing up still to watch them on a daily basis, yeah, then you could argue that you haven't destroyed his legacy and people still trust you and believe in you. But clearly, we know that Charlie earned the trust and respect of the public. You guys hadn't. We were giving it to you initially. If you go back and watch those early weeks, like days after, there were still pretty good views.
Oh, yeah.
But it just started to tank. The more that Erika and Andrew and Blake got out there and the more they showed, videos of them talking about everything, it just skyfalled, and it hasn't recovered. And I think that's like the marketplace of ideas has shown that they don't have anything to say that's valuable to us. Yeah, and
I've gone back and forth with Andrew and Blake a couple of times. I need to post on my YouTube. I will. I talked to Blake Neff and that Paramount Tactical Gary dude for 30 minutes on an X Space. Dude, 2 of the most insufferable people I've ever spoken to in my life. Like, it's so bad because this is actually crazy too. Do you know Artifacts, the videographer that was for Charlie for a little bit?
Yeah, she's been on here.
Yeah, so because we've been talking a bunch, and he was in that space with me, and I was talking to Blake and Gary, and I just see his little emoji in the corner, just spamming the laugh emoji because it was just so preposterous what they were saying, and I'm just seeing this in the corner of my eye. I'm like, bro. But something interesting that Blake said was, because I told him, I was like, guys, I don't know how many people are in this space, like 2,000 people or something. But I said it to his face. I was like, Blake, if you guys had tried to do anything after Charlie was assassinated, I never saw them one time sit down at that table in the Charlie Kirk Show, put some footage up on the monitor of like UVU footage or anything, kind of look at stuff like, okay, maybe this happened, or, oh, did we see this? Or I don't know. I told him, I was like, you guys did nothing. It was all about pushing on Charlie's mission, about what would Charlie want? What would he want? Like, start a chapter. But it's like, hey, we're trying to like figure out, like who assassinated him, or like why they would do that, or if anybody else was involved. You're like, oh, you're criticizing a widow? Like, it's like, what? And then their relentless defense of Israel it's so insane. That's like one of the main things. If you look at especially within the following 3 months after that, just nonstop. It's like, and they think that Israel did it, and that's obviously not true. And I'm like, how do you know? Like, I'm saying I believe they are, but I'm not saying 1,000% possible. Like, I know. I'm saying like, no, I think they are. Like, if they're not, then I don't know. Tell me why. Like, give me some reasons. But they're like, no way. Why would you say that? I was anti-Semitic. I'm like, why are you trying to shut people up? They're just giving their opinions. But to go back to the X Space, I was talking to Blake. I was like, you guys did nothing. And then Gary cut in. Gary interrupted him. But I was talking to Gary, and then Blake cuts in. He goes, I don't think you do understand, Mason. We sent, I'm talking about after, right? I'm saying you guys didn't do anything after this happened. And Blake goes, we sent suspicious TikToks and videos to the FBI before the event. And then he also said the text message of Charlie saying, just lost another huge Jewish donor, leaving the pros for cause. He said that Andrew sent that to the government along with those things because to leave no stone unturned. So we're all sitting there. I was talking to Artifacts after. I was like, did he just say they sent suspicious videos and TikToks to the FBI before the event started? And they still let him go up there. Never heard that from anybody before. So Artifacts blew that up. We were talking about that. And it's just like, what were those suspicious videos? What were those suspicious TikToks that you're talking about? Because I don't know of anything. I don't know if you do. I don't know if anybody else does.
So
but
I know. So Andrew and Blake have talked about it on the show, right?
Yeah.
Andrew likes to make it out like, like you said, you quoted him, leave no stone unturned, right? Like we were running down every lead, we were looking, we wanted answers. All we want is answers. And he goes, I'm the one that sent, those text messages to the FBI which is insane to hear him say that out loud, because that means before it all went down, he thought that there was videos and possible threats and things that were concerning enough to send to the FBI, not bad enough to get Charlie to not go there. But then after the fact too, sending that, Charlie, leaving the pro-Israel cause, but also the other one where he goes like, I think they're going to kill me, sent those off because he clearly thought that there was a potential that this wasn't just some lone gunman, trans, gay, furry lover relationship, college student.
Yeah.
I agree with you that it would have gone so much further for them if they would have done even just devoted a little bit of their show, because they're on all day. They have different segments. It wouldn't even have had to have been Blake and Andrew. They could have just done little snippets of their portion of their show, which is usually 2 to 3 hours, give or take, depending on the day. And then they have another one on Thought Crime. It's on Thursdays. It's on Rumble. But then they have other people doing shows all day, all throughout the night and stuff, like Alex Stein. They could have devoted other people's segments to investigating this, but they determined immediately that Tyler Robinson was the killer, was a lone gunman, nice little bow. Everyone shut up. That's the story. And that was one of the things that was the most suspicious. She forgave him at the memorial when we didn't have any clue. No one had like real knowledge yet as to who, what, when, where, why, just what they were telling us.
Yeah, and I will say, because I'm always honest when I'm like rehashing and rethinking all of this stuff, is when she said I forgive him, I honestly at the time I didn't really think that was like a suspicious thing to me, because in my head I was like I was full on like Jesus mode. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like she just had to deal with this. Like she's so strong for that. And that's just my opinion, like just how
a lot of people had that feeling at the time.
Yeah, of course. And then, but hindsight though, looking back at that, knowing all this stuff and her saying on that CBS interview, like, I've seen all the evidence and all this stuff, I know he did it. And then we see in the preliminary hearing all this stuff and there's nothing. And we're just like,
there's nothing.
So what evidence are you talking about? But this is why it's like so disingenuous of people, because she brings people like Benny Johnson, Jack Posobiec, Brandon Tatum, Graham Allen, all to the courthouse. What do they all come out and say? 4K crystal clear footage. You see his face and you see him take the shot. And then I see, that Brandy chick that was there as well. I talked to her a little.
Yep.
Yeah, they're phenomenal because dude, they camped out for like 13 hours on the freaking sidewalk with blankets and stuff. It was awesome. So they come out and we're talking in some X spaces and they're like, they didn't show anything. It was the same footage you guys have seen, just zoomed in a little bit.
Correct.
So it's just like, it's so crazy to me because it was obviously coordinated. I don't know what type of group chats these people have that are in like the Turning Point or whatever influencer circle. But even if you look back, especially Graham Allen, Dan Bongino, Brandon Tatum, David Harris, bro, if you see some of just the key words and statements that come out from them, it's all the same, just BS, whatever you want to call it, Fed slop or whatever. And I followed these guys for years, dude, with the BLM stuff, with the COVID stuff, with Trump getting elected in 2024. These guys were great. They were talking about all the truthful stuff. But then the second somebody criticizes said organization, they're blasting Candace Owens and demonizing anybody that has anything negative to say about them. So I'm not saying, hey, are they on a payroll? Are they being paid to say these things? Maybe, maybe not. But it's very telling when you're obviously just a sheep. We have a lot of weak men in this country, and it's sheepish, and it pisses me off because they try to say, oh, we hold masculine, conservative Christian values, and then you're defending all these losers like Blake Neff and Andrew Clovette who are untruthful, they're unfunny, they're unentertaining, and nobody likes them. And I said this in one of the spaces the other day, or actually it was on my YouTube Live. I said, do you know how many people in the political world and just even outside, my aunt has said it. Do you know how many people have come up to me? Because I know a lot of people, especially in the political world now, that have said, dude, did you see Candace's episode? It was crazy. Like, I love her so much. Like, oh my gosh, her and Charlie had such a great friendship. So many people. Do you know how many people I've had say to me online or in person, dude, did you see the Charlie Kirk show last night? Oh, dude, Blake and Andrew are so funny, dude. Like that's no, zero people. And I said this too. It would be one thing if it was like neutral, like I don't really have an opinion. No, it's all negative, dude, because they're so disingenuous.
It's
and
so
they
bad.
And this is the one thing too. If they wanted to actually have a good faith conversation, they'd have people on the show that combat their ideas. But what do? They bring on all these low testosterone beta males that wear freedom shirts and just hate Candace and bring them on the show. So I will say this, because I think I heard you mention him today, that Joshua Carr dude.
Yes.
Bro, I watched his episode with them. He was saying he was getting death threats and stuff. And all he said was somebody called him and said they were a police officer and then abruptly hung up, asking like where he was. I've gotten death threats. I got death threats on my campus tabling for Turning Point defending Erika Kirk.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a death threat to me. Like respect to somebody if they have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're going to come on the Charlie Kirk show, say you're getting death threats and then blame said death threat on Candace Owens and Baron Coleman, I think you're retarded. Yeah. So I will say this just for a clip for the sake of it. If you want to moderate a debate between me and him, I will full on do that because this dude literally said that Candace Owens belongs in jail for her opinions. He said that on his channel. So I don't know how people can say, first of all, that's against the Constitution of free speech. And it's just against truth. Like if you want to talk to somebody, that's what Charlie literally championed. He said, I don't care what you think. I don't care how stupid you are. He didn't say this, but obviously he brought up stupid people.
Right.
I don't care what you think. Come up to the mic and share your opinion. Let's have a conversation. No, Joshua Carr wants Candace Owens in prison for her opinions. So this is my invitation to him. I can clip him, put on my Twitter if I want to. I will debate him anytime, any day, because he is a low testosterone, beta male, untruthful cuck.
That's
what I got.
He just agreed to have a sit down with me. I'll definitely. You could also DM him. It sounds like so. He did a video the other day of supposedly people on our side, where he's like destroys them. But so we'll see. Like I definitely said that I'll have a conversation with him anytime, and so hopefully that'll happen this week. But definitely, I'll say that. So does Mason wants his turn as well.
No rush. Anytime, any day. I'll be here.
Yeah, a lot of people are just carrying water for TPUSA for the FedSlop narrative, bad. And it's bad. Wait, going back real quick to a couple things. So at the memorial, you said, that it had like a huge impact on you, right? Because and at the time, what this is 11 days after, there's no real stories out there yet, like investigating TPUSA and Erika Kirk. And so everyone's mindset going into it is really, to memorialize Charlie, right? What did you think of though? Like, did it hit you in the moment that like all of these politicians that literally never preached the gospel, never evangelized, never talk about their faith, have never really professed to actually be Christians, like in title, but like not in like actual deed, that they all get up there. They took advantage of this opportunity because it was politically expedient to do so. And then it's like the first and now the last time that we've ever seen them ever say and do those things. Did that kind of stick out to you as weird? Or you're like, no, how did you receive it at the time?
Not as weird, but as out of the ordinary. Yes. Because like I said it to my dad, I was like, dude, everybody talked about Jesus. And in my eyes, I'm like, that's a great thing because like, if they're being honest, then that's great. Like Tucker's speech, absolutely phenomenal. Like it was great. I agree. But I will say, looking in hindsight at this, people like Frank Turek, who I think is an extremely disturbing human being, his speech is very disturbing, honestly. Yes. He's speaking like he's like in like a black church in like the choir, like going like, but Charlie was already gone and we just had to get him there. And I'm like, I watched that back and I was like, yeah, this is performative as hell. So, but yeah, great. Some of that was great stuff, but I will say from Turning Point, I will say that looking in hindsight, looking at all the things that we've seen, look at all the suspicious things, this event and this just everything that happened with Charlie is the biggest manipulation of the Christian faith that the world has ever seen. Yeah. And I know that sounds crazy. Like really the world has ever seen, Mason. You got to think about social media. Social media reaches millions of people in seconds. It is the biggest manipulation of the Christian faith ever.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what pisses me off the most. And Candace harped on this a little bit, I think last week, because she was saying like, in congruence with who was the guy that was going crazy on live the other day?
On live?
Yeah. No. The Hollywood guy that was crashing out, that was on drugs and stuff.
Oh, Perez Hilton. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was talking about that a little bit, and she was saying like how Hollywood, that life, like they want your children, they want to influence your children. And she kind of led to the point. She talked a lot about this. Like I'm paraphrasing, but she said that Turning Point is wanting to influence your children, and they're using the Christian faith as a Trojan horse, basically.
True.
That's not the word she used. That's just what I'm saying. But
yep.
It is crazy, because looking back at it, they were like, dude, we've had this many chapters. We're gonna make sure Turning Point is in every high school in the country. And looking back at that, I'm like, dude, heck yeah, great. I spoke at some high schools about Turning Point and stuff. So think about that now, though, with everything they knew behind the scenes, with all that stuff. It's like, why do you want control of our children? Why do you want them to be involved in this? Because last thing I'll say about that is, when I went to AmFest in December, I didn't know that many people in conservative and Republican politics just get absolutely wasted and partake in degeneracy. Honestly, the amount of drunk people at AmFest, like the after parties and stuff. I think James O'Keefe had a thing too, but like, I don't know. But it honestly blew my mind, because I'm going there thinking this is going to be like a freaking church camp. Like, like everybody's going to be like pushing on Charlie's mission, having a good time. I don't know, freaking do a Bible study later or something. But no, it's just after party, after party, after party. Everybody getting drunk, people sleeping around. I'm like, what are we doing here? So that, along with all of the homosexuals that are getting exposed in conservative politics, like, dude, I'm convinced Graham Allen is. Like, I don't know if you saw those pictures that Candace dropped from her Facebook. Yeah. Dude, I have no words about that. He's he's just a low beta male sheep. So
they all are. There's so many things I want to say. I found a video of him, and he said, I don't want to repeat it. I guess I will. And he goes, he's talking about the Bongino army, and he goes, buckle up your buttholes, everybody. And I've never heard anyone use that statement. I tagged Candace on it, but yeah, like, oh my gosh, him, Benny Johnson, Jack, Andrew, Tyler Boyer. So you witnessed, like firsthand, that after like the day of AmFest is done, they're all going out partying and drinking,
during
debauchery during the day.
No, not during the day, but like, cause it was however many days, like every night.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like the night they were doing this stuff, like in the hotels, just going out to the bars and stuff.
Matt T said the same thing. Matthew Tuzzaroni.
Yeah.
It was part of Turning Point Action. Yeah.
Yes. That guy, I know who you're talking about. Didn't he just tweet about some Turning Point dude that was like trying to get him to have sex in his car or something?
Yes.
I retweeted that. That's
Robert Wallace. Yeah.
No words.
Yeah, Matt's been on here a lot too, so he's a good friend. Going back, so Charlie gets assassinated. You're not really, skeptical yet. How many months goes by before you decide? Well, you said you started. It was really the turning point for you was when you saw those two videos that Candace posted, right? And then you were like, I can't be part of an organization that I actively want to actually kind of criticize and call out. So you're like, I got to leave. And then you decide you're going to do a video of what, like why you left, right?
Yeah. So I have it pinned on my Twitter, the letter that I typed up. I highlighted everything. Like I spent however many days on that. But it was the turning point for me, like the main reason. But it was a lot of things. It was kind of like you said, like it was a gradual thing that kept happening. But I will say Aubrey Leitch's, I think it was like 12 minutes, her video that she released after she got fired.
Yes.
That really moved me because, and I'll get into that later, but seeing somebody that wasn't just a college student working for Turning Point, somebody that was like at HQ, because if I'm remembering correctly, she put on the memorial. Like she was the person.
Correct. Because and so Andrew Kovic even admitted that, and I played the clip of it, that he was so distraught with everything that Aubrey Leish was tasked with literally running the whole thing. And he even so this video that I played of him is like the couple, actually it's with Benny Johnson. It's the day after. It's on September 22nd because it was on the 21st because he's killed on the 10th. And so it's that Monday after the memorial. And he literally, Andrew's like, Aubrey Leish, most amazing employee, literally did it all. I couldn't handle it. Gave it to her. She's the best. And then we know like 2 months later, or a month later, he fires her.
Dude, it is so crazy because I will say, without getting into details or anything, I've talked to her a couple times and she's such a nice person. She literally DM'd me and she was like, if you need anything, like reach out, I'm here for you. We can talk about anything. And I'm like, really appreciate that. So, but hearing her video really opened my eyes because she said, if I'm remembering verbatim correctly, she said, I believe that I was terminated from Turning Point USA because I questioned these circumstances surrounding the events of September 10th that took out my role model and boss, Charlie Kirk.
Correct.
So, and the whole reason they fired her was like some bogus Uber story, and like the Uber driver heard her criticize Erika, and then somebody from her high school said something, and she was like, I don't even talk to anybody from high school. Like, what are you talking about?
Made up.
Yes. And then like she got drugged into a meeting with Andrew Colvette and Marina Minez, and they were like, yeah, you're fired. Yep. And then after that, she posted a video about this. I'm sure you've seen this too. Turning Point, of course it was them. I don't care if the guy didn't say for sure. Turning Point sent a private investigator to go photograph her license plate and her house.
Yes.
Right after.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yep.
So
and her boyfriend like confronted him outside.
Yes. Yeah. He had the whole video and stuff. And the guy was like, I can't really say who I'm working for. Who else is going to send that dude? Obviously it was them because she was calling them out, and that she obviously pissed him off. Just like I pissed them off in my When I Quit video, because I really laid it all out. I put, like I said, my opinion, but I put out, if you pull up my letter that I wrote, I have a list of people who I think had foreknowledge, of people who I don't necessarily think had foreknowledge, but have clowned people, and then a list of people that have been demonized and smeared. Yeah. So it is crazy because I really thought this through. This wasn't some just like random thing. Like I really had to think this through because Charlie Kirk was the guy that got me into politics, and hearing them just absolutely backtrack on some of his opinions, plus the suspicious things, plus them lying, plus Blake saying he doesn't remember who it was, just everything. It's not like I literally told this to my dad a couple hours ago. I was like, it's one thing if we were like, dude, Turning Point is like, I wish they'd talked more about this, or like, I don't really agree with them as much now. No, it's gone from love these people, Charlie's the GOAT, this is such a great organization, I've literally followed them for years, to, yeah, I think they're pushing an evil, satanic, untruthful agenda.
Right.
That's like polar opposite. It's not like it went from here to here. It went from here down to the freaking floor. Yeah. And the only way you can do that, the only way you can literally lose the youth, and I said this to Blake, and I said this everywhere, Turning Point USA has lost the youth. They've lost the youth. Because I will say this, everybody that follows me, like even on my personal and everything, they're not all into politics. Just people that I've known from high school, college, they're not all into politics. When Charlie got assassinated, I saw people post about it that I've never seen post about politics ever. Like saying this is evil, this shouldn't have happened. I had friends from high school, from middle school that I haven't talked to in 8 years hit me up, be like, yo, thank you for posting that. Thank you for speaking out. I had parents of people that from high school that I haven't talked to in 10 years hit me up saying, we're so proud of you, keep going and stuff. And just, it just blows my mind because they blew it up. They literally blew it up. Because if you talk to anybody my age now, yo, like, do you follow Turning Point? Do you agree with them? Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. Like, I can tell you right now, being a college student still and just listening of the opinions of people in the political world, outside of the political world, just like normal people, family members, friends, nobody cares. Literally nobody. Everybody that has a conscience and actually has a soul agrees that it was an evil thing that happened. But in terms of like following them and pushing on Charlie's mission, being involved, interviewing people, debating people, being involved in politics, nobody cares. That's why MAGA has gone down. That's why Turning Point has gone down. And we're in the midst of a conservative Republican civil war. And that's why we're going to lose a lot of, whether it's the midterms or whatever you want to say, 2028, we're going to lose a lot of stuff. And whether, I don't know, whether a third party needs to get created or whatever. My dad was talking about this. He was like, dude, if a third party is created, might be the way, because right now it's not looking good, because Israel is in control of a lot of people and they have influence over a lot of people. And I know it's a very touchy topic for a lot of people because I don't know.
Just is, yeah.
Yeah, we get called anti-Semitic. And Charlie was called anti-Semitic till the day he died, especially when he was talking to Megyn Kelly a couple days before. So there's so many things we could get into about that. But yeah, just to encapsulate all of that, Turning Point USA has lost the youth. And speaking as somebody that is in the generation that grew up being introduced to social media and just being in the category that Charlie literally targeted to why he created Turning Point, it's crazy how it's literally just had like a nuke dropped on it. And it's not because of Candace. It's not because of people that hate Erika or call it Erika. It's because they have been untruthful and they've backtracked on Charlie's stances, specifically Israel, war in Iran, people like Thomas Massey, etc. Charlie always, Charlie always said to question the narrative. Charlie always said, you want to talk about conspiracy stuff? Charlie Kirk literally said the only difference between a fact and a conspiracy theory is you just wait 6 months. And obviously with something as complex as this case, it's going to take longer than 6 months. But I said, I'm patient. I don't care. I'm patient. I'm not just going to fall for the Fed slop and be a sheep and wear a freedom shirt and be like, yeah, Blake and Andrew and Erika, oh my God, so great. No, I'm going to be like, hey, why did you guys lie about courtroom footage? Why'd you guys lie about knowing where you were? Why'd you guys lie about specific things that happened that day? So, because
they have so much riding on the outcome of this trial. But let me ask you something.
Go for it.
Well, man, if you know someone that's your age that could, did you see the chapter leadership summit that she did when she spoke and she unveiled the new men's retreat that's coming up in Victus?
I told
we need to. Dude, if you hadn't come out yet, I was like, you could have been our inside guy, bro.
Look, Matt. I will say I'm not completely opposed to that idea if I want to go undercover, but I will say I told my parents this at dinner the other night. I said if I went to that thing, I'd probably get kidnapped and you'd never see me again. I'm just saying. I don't know where.
Victor Marx would show up and make you disappear.
Dude, he blocked. You know what's actually crazy about that? I will say this just on the same note of Frank Turk being a disturbing human being. I think that Victor Marx is a very deeply disturbing human being because the amount of murder and lying that goes on in that guy's family and world is actually blows my mind.
Insane.
I don't know if you remember his interview with Candace, but she had to nag this dude for 14 minutes straight, asking about the cat story about him cutting the head off a cat
when he's 3.
Yes, dude. And I was like, she literally just kept asking that question. I was like, let's freaking go, Candace, because she was not moving on to the next thing. She was just yes or no. And he was like, Candace, let's talk about something important, actually. And I'm like, I'm watching this in my room. I'm just like, are we like? I had to watch for 14 minutes this to just avoid the question. But look, the picture of him holding Erika, if I'm remembering correctly, was day of.
He flies. So what happened was after the assassination, because Erika wasn't tasked to be out there, she didn't have her own security team. Mikey McCoy gets on the phone, calls up Victor Marx because I don't know, there might be a familial connection. They might be related. I don't know. But there's a deep connection there between Erika and Victor Marx. So Mikey calls Victor, says, get the boys ready. Meet us in Provo, in Orem, and you're going to be the security team for Erika. And he flies out with his team. And that's why they have guns at their feet that are blacked out in that hug. So he put down his AR that's at his in between his legs when he's hugging her.
Why? This is I want you to answer this just with your opinion. Why is it that Erika, the days following her husband getting assassinated in broad daylight, why is she and the months following, why is she hanging around Victor Marx and Stacey Sheridan more than her own family?
Honestly, I think it just goes to show you that I don't think she really loved Charlie. I think that the whole premise of their relationship and marriage was a fraud. He didn't know that. But that clearly just look at her life, look at who she was all the way up. The day that she went to go fly out or drive out, whatever, from the Hamptons to go meet Charlie at that dinner. She leaves the Summer House, that dating show that was filmed by Bravo. She goes straight from the dating show to go meet Charlie, where she says that, if you want to marry a guy like Charlie, you got to be the woman God wants you to be in order for God to bring you the man like Charlie. And it's like, well, you were just at a dating show drinking and flirting with guys. And then you go she's not who she purports to be. Victor Marks, in my opinion, is part of it. Yep. Tyler Boyer is the one responsible for it because he tried to set them up 4 other times before it happened. Yeah. And yeah, so I think she doesn't really, I mean, she has family. We saw them at the preliminary hearing. It's like her stepsister, and then there's like an aunt and like niece and nephew. But I think it's because they're all connected to this, like Stacey Sheridan, Marina Minez. Yeah, let me ask you this. Why do you think that Erika Kirk, we don't see a single photo or video of Erika and Charlie's parents hugging, comforting one another, not on the tarmac, remember, because they're on the tarmac when the casket gets unloaded. And then when they go to the White House, they're both there, but they're not together. She's like comforting by, Stacey. And
when he got the Medal of Freedom at the White House.
Yes. Yeah. There's a huge space. It's Stacey and Erika, big space. Charlie's mom, Charlie's dad, and the same at the tarmac, and similarly at the preliminary hearing. We never see them together. Why do you think that would be?
And when she was driving by in the SUV holding a necklace, Stacey's in the back right next to her.
So weird.
Yeah. I will say, like, you hit it on the nail, dude. I'm not even disagreeing with anything you said. Like, in terms of their marriage and stuff, I completely agree with you. And not even everybody that like follows Candace or disagrees with Erika shares that opinion, but I completely do.
True.
And I will say this. Charlie said to Candace, I remember they were talking about this. She was saying this on the show. She was showing text messages, everything. She was saying that Charlie at the time was trying to date this girl and he was like obsessed with her and she broke his heart basically. He was super sad about it. And I will say this just as a single guy in his 20s. Charlie said that the thing he wanted most, and he said this to Candace, he said the thing that he wanted most, and what else would any Christian guy in his 20s want most, is a God-fearing woman to marry and have children with.
Yep.
And I think that Erika presented herself as that. And I've said this a good amount of times, is Charlie's the GOAT, right? We love Charlie. Was he perfect? No. He was capable of being deceived just like anybody. He was a human being. Yep. And it is sad because looking back at all this, not saying this for clicks, not saying this for money, I would say this no matter what, is I truly think he was deceived.
Yes.
I truly think he was deceived. I think that a woman way older than him put herself onto him. I think them meeting in Israel was weird. And also, if I'm remembering this correctly, there's questions about it, but let's say this is true. Let's say that Tyler Boyer and Erika knew each other from a Trump rally. I know that's a statement that's out there.
No, they did. They knew each other before that. It's already been admitted because they spoke on the phone, and that's how Tyler got her on the stage behind the podium.
Right. So let's, because I don't know if they contradicted that and said they met at that event, but either way.
They have contradicted themselves as to when did they actually meet. Yes.
Right. So regardless of that, however it is, Tyler Boyer knew Erika Kirk before Erika knew Charlie Kirk.
Correct.
So, and Erika knew Trump before Charlie Kirk. So this is my thing. I know she has said this, is how in the world is Erika going to be in the world of politics, specifically in the world of the Trump campaign, everything? And when she meets Charlie Kirk supposedly accidentally in Israel, she says she has no idea who he was.
Yeah.
I find that extremely weird. Plus it was in Israel. Plus Tyler Boyer was involved.
Yeah.
Plus her being on the show and her not remembering their wedding date, her not remembering specific things. I will say this, just to harp on all of that stuff, is I watched back at some panels that they did, like Erika and Charlie did together at some speaking events and stuff. Dude, the amount of times that she would just like ramble on about some stuff and Charlie wouldn't even add to it or anything. He's just kind of sitting there like, and she would just say things that are like, no, dude, like no one agrees with you. Yeah. So we didn't realize that at the time, but looking back at stuff after all this stuff, we're like, holy crap, dude. Like, and I don't know, like more things that I guess we have less proof of, but are still out there is I know this has been said was that Charlie was scheduled to alter his will the week he died.
Yes. I've heard that. I've heard that as well.
Out there. I feel like if that's like such a weird specific thing. If that was fake, like, who would make that up? That's like kind of.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like the Monday before or the Monday after it was scheduled. And similarly, I've heard reported, but Barron and Candace had both also reported like a portion of this, saying that there was for sure trouble in the marriage, and that's most likely why the priest came over, wasn't to pray over Charlie because of some stupid Pinterest hex that somebody purchased, but it was more so to pray over their relationship because they were having troubles. And there's been multiple people report that Charlie was in the process of, or at least either already started in the process or was about to file for divorce with Erika. So I definitely think so. The night before, the only thing that I can make sense of her story that she tells in that New York Times interview and with Jesse Waters, Charlie's a married man, with kids. I know how young kids are, and like they lived in a condo. It's like one story, but it's a big flat. That he's not going to, in the middle of the night, be in the kitchen, slamming cabinet doors, slamming the microwave. Like she said that he woke up Gigi from making dinner. Okay. From just being in the kitchen, making all sorts of noise. Charlie doesn't strike me as someone that's inconsiderate and unaware that his kids are literally in the other room sleeping. And he's not going to be in there just like slamming things, like slamming pots and pans down willy nilly. I think because that same night, Mason, was the night that he's on the phone with Rabbi Wolicki, Josh Hammer, Frank Turek, Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, and there was one more. I can't think of it right now. Rob McCoy's not on the phone, but Mikey's there, Andrew's there, Blake is there, Frank is there, and then Josh Hammer and Rabbi Wolicki. And then Rabbi Wolicki says there's also Israeli agents on the call, but he doesn't say who. As Israeli agents, by the way. That phone call, in my opinion, is a phone call to try to get Charlie the night before he goes to UVU. It's their last attempt to appeal to him to not, oppose the war in Iran, don't oppose Israel, don't say anything about Jeffy Epi. They can't guarantee. So all the previous campus events in the spring of 25, there was major parts devoted just to Israel. They, in fact, had to even tell people, we're going to talk about Israel. If you got an Israel question, we're going to do that later, because he didn't want the whole show to be about that. So he had to push Israel questions to later. They knew that he was going to get it. He was going to get questions, especially after SAS with Tucker Carlson. Josh Hammer got destroyed by Dave Smith, Megyn Kelly, Tucker, and that, sit down that he did with the chapter leads all on Israel. Yep. That there was going to be questions. They needed to try to make sure that he wasn't going to stray further from the path, and it was their last attempt to do so. He leaves that conversation and sends out a text. Yeah, I think they're going to kill me. All right. That goes to Frank Turek, Dan Flood, and Andrew Colvett. Right. I think she gets the call. Erika Kirk, we didn't work. We were unsuccessful. This is why you're here. You're the last line of defense for us. Okay. In case a moment like this, you need to get out there and try. And when she goes out there to try to do what they just tried to do for over an hour and a half, and he realizes, holy smokes, you're part of it too. He probably already had inclinations and maybe even was already completely doubting her. But I think at that point was completely positive that she was part of it, because the only thing, in my opinion, that would wake up all the kids and would make Gigi irate and not able to go back to sleep and need to sleep in mom's bed, and why Charlie would sleep in the other bed, is if they got in a fight. If they got in an argument, it was unresolved. Charlie doesn't sleep in the room. Gigi's unconsolable, sleeps with mom, and he sleeps in the other room. He doesn't say goodbye to her. He doesn't kiss her goodbye. He walks in the morning. He takes a shower in the other bathroom, walks in, gets his ring, gets his necklace, and leaves.
Yeah, he dipped. Yeah, it's that plus I'm sure you've seen this, obviously. The picture of her kids with her thumb over it.
Yeah, AI. Yeah, those aren't.
That was her alibi that Andrew Colvett put out for where she was on September 8th and 9th.
Correct.
And I put this everywhere. Is if you look at that picture, first of all, at the time, Charlie's son was a year and a half, maybe.
Correct. No, he was. Mac was a year and a half. Gigi was 3.5. Correct.
So I think he turned 2 in March or something.
Correct.
I went back on his Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, it looked like an 8-year-old kid.
5 and 7.
Yeah. So it looked older, but then I don't know if you zoomed in on it, on their fingers, dude, it's totally AI.
It is.
And I'm not saying that oh, you're blaming AI for this. No, look at the picture, dude. It's
so bad.
It's so obvious. And I haven't seen them address that really. Other than Andrew posting it that one time, I haven't seen them really defend that.
Yeah. So the claim that the alibi was supposed to be for was the night of the 8th at Fort Huachuca Candlewood Inn Suites that Mitch Snow said he saw her and Cabot Phillips or someone else that might have been prior military or something like that with Erika, right? Yep. So the alibi that they end up giving, that stupid photo that's totally AI, not the kids, was for the morning of the 9th. No one ever claimed to see Erika at Fort Huachuca on the morning of the 9th. Mitch said he saw her the night of the 8th at the Candlewood Inn Suites. Okay, so wrong day, wrong time, wrong kids. And that they don't defend it. They don't answer any of the issues with it. But Gary Meltdown comes out eventually, recently, when all of these things get brought up. He goes, what does it matter if it's not her kids? It doesn't even matter if it's not her kids.
It's like, you know what's actually crazy is because before all this, I didn't even know who that clown was. And
me neither.
I remember hearing this was the only reason we have that picture is because Andrew Colvette sent it to a YouTuber and he was living and he accidentally showed it on his live. And looking back at that, I heard like Paramount, whatever. I realized it was him and I was like, correct. Holy crap, that makes so much sense.
Think about this.
So much sense.
Think about this. If they knew that it's a fake video, a fake photo, right? If Andrew knows it's a fake photo, and that if Andrew knows that Gary won't be able to discern because he doesn't know the size, the age of the kids, like he doesn't have a long-lasting relationship with them prior to that being sent to him.
Right.
Andrew tells him, "Don't show this on the show.
Yep,
don't show the photo. Yeah. Just report what you see. Just tell them you're looking at a photo of Erika and the kids."
Oh, you're so right, dude. I didn't even think about it like that.
It was never supposed to be shown.
Yeah, he said don't share at the end of it. Why else would you say that? Yeah, because he knows he wouldn't turn on him. But if the public had knowledge of that, obviously we're gonna decipher that. Yeah, because he was like, this is proof she was with her kids at 8 p.m. or whatever, and it's obviously not true. Yeah, stuff gets exposed, dude. Evil. This is my whole kind of slogan since I started my page has been evil will be exposed, and whether it happens on accident or people digging for it. It's going to come out, dude, because stuff that Candace is putting out. And this is the crazy thing, too, is when I dropped my letter in my video, immediately I had people saying, so you're the person that was feeding Candace information from the inside. I was like, I'm like a student athlete. Like, I'm just in college, bro. Like, what are you talking about? I was tabling on my campus and I said, hey, they're lying about this stuff. Let me type this up. But no, I guess I'm freaking Candace's informant within TPUSA headquarters. But
no, Candace has got someone in headquarters, probably multiple people, dude, honestly.
She's so great. And it's so funny too, because before I started my page, actually, the Lemme React page, I started it the night before the memorial, while we were in our hotel room. And cause that was, almost 2 weeks after. And cause I had been spam posting stuff and I was like, dude, I can't just be posting all this political stuff on my regular Instagram for my friends on. I was like, I should make a different one. I should make a different one specifically for interviewing people, live streaming people. Cause the night before the memorial, it's the Arizona Cardinal Stadium, State Farm Stadium.
Yep.
I was going out interviewing people with a mic that were just walking on the street till midnight. And we went back to our hotel. My dad slept for like an hour. And I made the account and I was posting some of the interviews I did. And we went out there at like 2 a.m. to get in line, and there were already thousands of people in line at like 3 a.m.
Dang.
So yeah, just ever since starting this, I really have been striving to just be honest and just share my opinion as a college student, somebody that was really spending a lot of time trying to defend Turning Point, but just seeing that all blow up, it was really sad. But I started the page, and I'm really glad with just people that I've connected with at AmFest, at the memorial and stuff. But yeah, it's been crazy for sure. Cause like I've got death threats. I'm sure you got death threats. Like we're living in a sad time, but it's crazy because the amount of people that are waking up to stuff is, I think, really good. And that's what Candace was saying. She was saying, I'm sure you've seen it. Charlie's old text messages from like 2019. He was saying, I think I'm going to die young. And he was like, be my David, when or if they get me.
Yeah.
And she was saying like, dude, that event, he knew that he was going to change the world. And I really do think, for the sake of me not spam spam name calling them our greatest ally, I really think it goes deeper than a lot of people think it does. I really do. In terms of politics, whether it's the banks, whether it's elections, whether it's freaking pharmaceuticals, everything. You can go back to like 9/11, JFK, Michael Jackson. Like I've done research on all of those things. I think they were all taken out by the same people. I really do.
Yeah.
And it is crazy because if you asked me a year ago, Matt, if you were like, what do you think about Israel, Mason? What do you think? I would have had little to no opinion, really. I would have been like, dude, sure, they're, I don't know, I read about in the Bible, like, sure, Bibi Netanyahu, whatever. Now I'm like, yeah, they control a lot in our country. It's the size of New Jersey. Why are they talked about in everything? Everything. Yeah. We don't talk about Russia or freaking China anymore, dude. Yeah. It's all about them. Yeah. And it is crazy because why is it that, wait, was it the leader of Russia or China that said they didn't kill Charlie Kirk 30 minutes after? Oh, no, wait, it was Bibi who tweeted it. Yeah, that's right. My bad. Yeah, it wasn't Putin that was like, guys, we didn't do it. No, Bibi came out. He was like, Charlie loved the Jewish people. And
he didn't even tell. He didn't read the whole 7-page letter that John Mappin ends up releasing on X. He reads like a sentence from it and acts like the whole letter that Charlie wrote was him like waxing how much he loved Israel and Bibi and forever supports him. That's when he says that he had nothing to do with it. And then he goes on to say how much, he was a diehard supporter of Israel to the very end. That didn't make us go like, what the heck? Like.
And then Erika said the same thing on one of her first interviews. She was like, Charlie was always so outspoken about how we love Jewish people. And she's like fake crying. She's like, Jewish hate is so bad. And I'm like, bro, what are we watching right now?
Yeah.
And then, dude, even I remember this vividly too. Something's bad when you remember where you were when it happened.
Yeah.
I was at In-N-Out Burger. To anybody who thinks Whataburger is better than In-N-Out, I don't care what you think. In-N-Out's better. But anyways, I was at In-N-Out Burger. This was like 4 months ago. And Turning Point on their page posted a clip. It's like a 30-second clip out of it was the Josh Hammer, Dave Smith
debate.
Yes, it was during that debate. I'm pretty sure. And it was a clip of Charlie going, guys, Jewish hate is like so bad. It's so evil and stuff. And then the clip ends. And I'm like, bro, there's no way they're posting this right now. And then you look at the comments. My dad texts me. He's like, bro, they're getting flamed. They're getting destroyed.
Yep.
And that video is still up if I remember that correctly. But it's so disgusting because how in the world are you going to have your founder and CEO say 48 hours before he died, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker at AmFest. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. They like to forget that little sentence that's in there. Thinking of inviting Candace, not like, no. Thinking of inviting Candace to speak at the biggest event of the year. Not like, let's DM Candace, see what she thinks. No, speaker. And then he says, I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Not like, I kind of disagree with them. I don't really want to talk to them. No. Leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. 48 hours later, he's dead. And then the day before he says he thinks they're going to kill them. If I get taken out and 2 days before I say, hey, I think it's going to be these people and these people hate me and I've gotten bullied and harassed by these people over millions of dollars.
Maybe we should look into it, right?
Yeah, maybe take a look. Take a little gander over there because it's so bizarre to me how they literally, just Turning Point and Andrew Kovalev, how they haven't questioned it ever.
At all.
Any question they've ever gotten about foreign involvement, they're like, no, we don't think that. No.
Correct.
No. Guys, go start a chapter. Guys, just what Charlie would have wanted. Guys, Christian values, like this is what Charlie would have wanted. Look at Erika. No, there was no talk about the war in Iran. Charlie was so opposed to that. And what did Joe Kent say to Charlie when they were at the White House? Or no, what did Charlie say to Joe Kent? Charlie said, Joe, stop us from getting in a war with Iran. What happens when we get into that? Joe Kent is out of there immediately. And I have so much respect for that dude because I'm being honest. I'm in the political world a lot. I really keep up with stuff. I didn't really know who he was before. I'm just being totally honest.
I didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read his letter and I was like, dude, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. He's dope. I like him.
You can tell that somebody isn't bought and paid or controlled by anybody when they immediately have a response to something like that. And they're like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. No.
Yep.
Like, thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity, but I'm freaking out of here because I can't take this. It's not right. So
yeah, if you go back and look at the videos that Charlie was doing in June, July, and August of 2025, him and of course his little parrots that were around him at the time were all echoing what Charlie was saying. Now we know how they really feel now that he's gone. Now they're saying the opposite, but that Charlie was opposed even to the limited strikes of the nuclear sites, like Fardo, Esfahans, and the other one, I can't say it. He didn't want those to happen, but he realized it was going to happen. And so he says, I'm just going to trust my friends that this would be it. But Joe Kent, and then I had Clint Russell on from Liberty Lockdown, who also interviewed Joe Kent, and he's spoken to Buckley Carlson. He just interviewed Tucker's brother, and that they said Charlie spent 2 days before the limited strikes were approved to stop the limited strikes. He didn't want the bombing to happen. But then when he realized that it was going to happen, he had to go back home and be a good, Trump supporter and be like, I'm just going to trust my friends that this is all that's going to happen.
That should have been it.
And he says, and so does Blake and Andrew and Tyler Boyer, and Jack Posobiec, that if it continues to anything further, like regime change, boots on the ground, anything more, that we should all be very concerned.
Absolutely. I actually said that verbatim to my dad the other day. I was like, dude, when we got boots on the ground in there, you can't do that. Like, because the initial strike with the B-2 bombers, I thought that was freaking sick. I was like, I posted a TikTok about it, got like freaking 500,000 views. I was like, dude, we just went in there and just destroyed all their nuclear stuff.
That's a total guy reaction.
Dude, I put like freaking Thunderstruck behind it or something. I don't remember. Or the Top Gun.
I mean, that's total like American military power at its finest.
Yes, dude. I was like, bro, Pete Hegseth is the freaking GOAT. We just took that out. And that should have been it. And honestly, I would have been fine with that because I don't know what they're going to do with that. And obviously, we don't know the specifics of their plans over there.
Yeah.
But obviously, nuclear weapons are bad. But hearing that we got drug into the war, I remember it was like on the phone, like this type of news, like just the regular
little pop down.
Yeah. It was so blatant. It was like USA helps Israel with war in Iran, and I'm like, dude, what? Like, why are we doing what they want us to? And somebody said this, I forget who it was, but they were saying like for years Israel has had a list of people that they want to take care of, and the United States has helped them with every single one except Iran. That was like the last on the list or something. But
yeah, if you were to read the Project for a New American Century, you have the Greater Israel Project, you have Agenda 2030. They've been wanting to destabilize the Middle East, and Bibi for decades, right? This was the plan to destabilize 7 countries in like, I don't know, however many years. And Iran is like one of the last ones, chips to fall. Also, Bibi has been shouting from the rooftops since 1996, like they're 2 weeks away from a bomb. They're 2 weeks away. And then we bombed them, and they come out, and our intelligence report is like, we did it. It's totally decimated. They're back to the Stone Age. We're good. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, no, they're 2 weeks away from a bomb. We got to go back.
And Charlie Kirk was saying, I forget, sometime on his show, he was saying, my whole life I've been told that Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. And he was like, you were wrong about this. You were wrong about COVID. You were wrong about whatever stuff. Bro, I don't know if you can pull up my Instagram, but I read, it's honestly, it's one of the most important videos of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, I have that one too. It's on my X, but I can pull up. Let me see. I can try to pull up my Instagram if it's linked or if it's going to make me re-log in. I never log into my Instagram on this computer. Let's see if it'll.
I can send a link to your Twitter if you like.
I don't remember. I'm so bad. I don't remember my password that I set up.
Instagram or Twitter.
Hold on. I'm going to go to my X because I have it on I know which one you're talking about. Or you send me the one that you want, as long as it.
I got you.
If it tries to make me log into in order to access your video, then I won't be able to.
Do you want me to send it on Twitter DMs? Would that work?
Yeah. Do that. Yeah.
Got you. Sent it. It's really important because
he goes wrong about 9/11, wrong about everything. He goes, maybe we shouldn't trust them.
Yes, dude, yes.
All right, here we go. No, I don't want to log in. All right, hold on. All right, here we go. Hopefully it's going to allow me to make it bigger. We'll see. There we go.
Dollars are going to subsidize pedophile rings. Would you say it's a good idea to use military force to strike potential Iranian nuclear targets. My whole life, I've been told that Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a nuclear bomb. And yet here in 2025, they do not have a nuclear bomb. We push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. It's like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question. You know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years.
One of my great irritations is when people use the third person plural without specifying who they're talking about and say they.
They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about Afghanistan. They were wrong about the Taliban. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong about the Arab Spring. They were wrong about Yemen. They were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula. They were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian. But hey, 10th time's a charm. This time we're actually right. Yeah, you're going to have to earn our trust on this one. I am going
100%. Hold on. There we go. Are you still there?
Yeah, that last quote too that he had, it was that at one of the speaking events.
Oh, was it not done? All right, let me play it. I'll play it.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, hold on.
These American taxpayers deserve answers to this. We deserve answers. Also, if we're going to get into a regional or world war,
wait, hold on. This doesn't have that little bar at the bottom. I can't rewind it, huh? I can't.
Based on an intel failure. So, I mean, we pay for this. What are we buying, right? I got smeared as a Jew hater, an anti-Semite, and conspiracy theorist because I said exactly what I just said. And I refused to back down despite all the smears thrown at me because I learned during COVID. I learned when they told us that it came from a bat in the Himalayas. I learned when they told us the vaccine was safe and effective. I learned when they told us that ivermectin was horse paste, that you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep.
One of the most important videos, like compilations I've seen that, like, if you wanted to encapsulate, like, hey, these were Charlie's thoughts leading up to his death, and this is what happened to him. Yeah, that's one of the best ones, for sure.
100%. Let's see. I'm coming back. All right, there we go. So what were we talking about before that? We were definitely talking about like Israel's involvement, and Charlie was opposing the war in Iran. He also, don't forget, so the timeline is pretty interesting. I don't know if you're aware of the timeline in 2025. In March of 2025, that's when he writes the letter and sends it to Bibi, the 7-page letter.
Yes.
It's in March. Bibi immediately responds and says, can I come on your show to do this? And Charlie says, no, you can't come on my show. So then Bibi goes on Brandon Tatum, and he goes on a bunch of other Zionists.
Remember that, bro.
He goes on a bunch. There's like a handful of them, and they all sucked, okay? Because Charlie wasn't saying for Bibi to do anything. He knows that Bibi doesn't have credibility. No one likes Bibi. No one trusts Bibi. He's telling Bibi to start a separate network called the Israeli Truth Network and to hire people that are like everyday people that like we have now, like independent journalists and influencers here. Like people want authenticity, honesty, and genuineness, right? No, Bibi's like, I'll do it, right? And he's like, no, Bibi. So that's strike number one. Bibi's like, no one says no to me. Fine. Then this is in June. He has Dave Smith destroy Josh Hammer. Destroy. Okay. He has Tucker and Megan come on and goes Max on Jeffy Epi being part of Mossad, which is working with Israel and our intel agency. Tells Tucker to go Max. Then he does the sit down with Andrew Colvett, and the chapter leads all about Israel. Okay. Then he goes from there to the Hamptons, right? After the Hamptons, there we have Seth Dillon, Josh Hammer, and what is it, Bill Ekman or whatever, the big donor. They were all pressuring him to change his ways on Israel.
Was that when Bibi called him at that thing?
Yes, and offers 120, 50, 80 million to take TPUSA to the next level, and he says no again. I think that's right.
The Charlie Kirk show, they claimed that he called him to follow up on the letter that he wrote that many months later. What? No, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna call him while he's at a specific event thingy about the letter that he wrote. Okay.
Well, okay. You know what they do? They weave in truth with lies. And so it actually makes sense because that letter spawned BB to ask him to come on the show. And Charlie says no. All right. And then it could be BB saying, I want to give you $180 million to take TPUSA to the next level, but you're going to be partnering with me and I'm going to come on your show and we're going to use Turning Point as this, like in his letter, he says, yeah. And he's like, you can create an Israeli truth network. That's what he coined for BB to call it. And BB's like, no. I'm not going to start from scratch. You've already done the hard work. You have the trust. You have the hearts and minds of the people in the United States. Those are the people we need to propagandize. Those are the hearts and minds that we don't need to lose. So why would I start a brand new organization when you've done the last 10 years building trust and respect in the community with the same people I want to reach? No, we're going to use TPUSA. And he goes, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of, well, first it reminds me of, there's a clip of Andrew Colvett when Charlie was still alive. I think. Either way, he was talking about Andrew was wanting to get out of some situation, and he gave, oh yes, Charlie was still alive, because he texted Charlie about it, and he was like, yo, could we say this about it, like to do like a little white lie? And he said that Charlie responded and just said, we do not lie. And he was kind of like making fun of it and stuff. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so when he was even alive, you're just like, your default is to just like throw in white lies about stuff
to make things go away. Andrew Cole. So it's Russ Coulthart. He does this interview after Charlie's dead, telling about the situation that happened when Charlie was alive. Yeah. Charlie and TPUSA was dealing with some sort of issue. It wasn't going away. They weren't able to handle it. Andrew goes, I know how we can make this go away. We just lie. We just lie. And Charlie's like, no, I don't do that. We don't do that here. You don't do that when you work here. And now Charlie's gone. So what do you think Andrew Colvett's knee-jerk reaction on how to solve things is without Charlie there?
He's the host now. He's the host of the show now. And it also reminds me too, just talking about the other stuff we were talking about, is I put the screenshots in my video, is what, because Candace talked about this, was that message that the female Christian Zionist donor sent to Charlie. That honestly gave
Lori Cardoza Moore, right?
Was that her name? I didn't put her name on there.
The one that she's like, God's gonna lift his hand of protection on you.
Yeah. That gave me really eerie, like evil satanic vibes.
Yeah, 100%.
It was like using the Bible to manipulate, trying to get Charlie to be pro-Israel. And then, you know what's crazy? At the very end of that, she says, be very careful, Charlie. God is going to lift his hand from all of the good work you were going to do. Correct. Not like all of the good work that you could do. No, that you were going to do, like past tense, like, yeah, you're going to freaking die if you don't do this. She literally said, be very careful, Charlie. Those who curse Israel will be cursed.
Correct. She
said, it will be to your peril. I'm telling you, dude, I highlighted all this stuff, like the keywords and stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I've played it on here too, where the text message, she also did a video, right?
Really?
Yeah, there's a video of her recording herself calling Charlie out, basically saying all the same stuff. So that's how people were able to cross-reference and find out that it's Lori Cardoza Moore that sent that text.
Because initially it was like, we didn't know who it was, right?
We didn't know who it was at first, but people, James Lee, who's got a big YouTube channel, is, I'm pretty sure, the one credited with finding out who it was. And that, she goes like, don't be counted among the Edomites, Charlie. God's going to lift his hand of protection from you. He's calling out Charlie for allowing Tucker to, speak at the Student Action Summit. And
Candace, she was calling out Candace too. She's like, don't allow anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker to have a platform, basically. And kudos to you, dude, because I feel like most people that I talk to have no idea what I'm referencing when I talk about that. They're like, wait, what donor? What Christian Zionist donor? But because even that episode that Candace did when she showed that stuff, I don't even think she knew at the time. Because if I'm remembering correctly from that episode, she didn't have a name for that person.
I don't know if she did at the time, but I'm pretty sure she came back and covered it later. Yeah. Because we didn't know who it was at first, because it was just like a text thread. But the other thing is that she spells God a certain way. I think it did have the dashes or something in it. And so
either that or like it was like G-D.
Yes, that's right. No O. That's right. And she
Yeah.
did that again in a different text that was her. And so people were able to like have 3 different data points to be like, it's Lori Cardozo more.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy, dude. And I think, like, I'm not trying to speak for him, obviously. I'm just kind of giving my 2 cents on it. Is I think that Charlie definitely had these thoughts of like being against like the government of Israel and stuff. Because I talked about this to my dad like today. I was like, bro, obviously there's great Jewish people that live in Israel that aren't like complicit with Bibi's government.
100%.
Because even Charlie said on the Patrick Bet-David podcast back in October of 2023, he said that Israel was on the brink of a civil war. There were hundreds of thousands of people protesting in the street against Bibi.
Correct.
So I hear that and I'm like, okay, not everyone's just on the same page over there. Obviously, there's differing thoughts, but dude, I have like that whole dialogue just memorized in my brain because I think it's so important. Because he was talking about how they were going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Correct.
About how he's been to the Gaza border. It's like a 45-minute helicopter ride. You can't go 15 feet without seeing a 19-year-old with an AR-15. The entire country surveilled, all this stuff. And what was the final quote he said at that? He said, I got to be careful how I say this. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Yes. Bibi has a mandate to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Yeah. Well, hearing that, obviously, because that was 2023, he had thoughts about this stuff. So I think one of his, not faults, but I think one of the reasons we didn't publicly know his thoughts about a lot of this stuff was he wanted the Israel of the Bible to be fulfilled in today's Israel, and he didn't want to just lose faith in that immediately. Correct. I think he wanted it to work. I think he tried. It's why he wrote the letter to Bibi. He wouldn't just write it if he was like, hey, screw you guys. Like, I don't care about you guys.
Correct.
I'm sure he said some good stuff in there.
Yes.
Whether it was trying to get him to do stuff, not go to war, not try to anything, freaking bomb places.
Yep.
And I think a lot of pastors suffer from that as well, is they not, obviously Charlie didn't do as much. He's very outspoken about being against stuff, but a lot of pastors are sheep because they just blindly defend Israel. They're like, they're the people of God. How dare you? Are you anti-Semitic? Like, why are you talking negatively about them? It's like, we can criticize the government of a country and also be a Christian. Like, I don't know how that concept is absent from people's minds, because even guys like Jack Hibbs, I love Jack Hibbs. I've loved him for a long time. But then the stuff came out and he was like so for it, like so obviously just sheepishly for it. And I'm like, I don't understand that. And because I will say, when I was in California, I grew up and went to the school and church, the original Calvary Chapel that Pastor Chuck Smith founded. Like, I literally went to school and church there. Yep. And my family, like, we know Greg Laurie and my dad knew Chuck Smith. Like, we're very involved in that world. And the pastor that's there now, this is so crazy to me. I don't know. You probably don't even know him. Brian Broderson and his son, Char Broderson. They're 2 of the weakest men I've ever spoken to in my entire life. I started calling them out when I was a 17-year-old in high school, because when they took over, there's like thoughts about like finance or whatever, but I'm talking about the content of what they talk about. I literally walked out of there and I was like, yeah, they're not leaders. I said that to my dad as like a 17-year-old. I was like, they're not leaders. And then 2020 happened, the BLM stuff. They were so for it, dude. Like, they were so for it. Like, just, we don't have to get into all that. But anyways, stuff with like Greg Laurie and stuff, like him and Erika, even like guys like James Caddis. My immediate thought is like, I'm not just going to immediately say like, oh, they're evil. Because like, I think there's a lot of really good people in the world of Calvary Chapel, but I'm not just going to blindly defend people. Like, if there's stuff, there's stuff. And seeing pastors just blindly defend them, and even James Caddis, like I've loved his stuff for years, but dude, his podcast with Erika, like I talked to him at AmFest, and AmFest was right before I kind of changed my mind about a lot of this stuff. I got his personal phone number, and I was like, yo, like, we should talk sometime. Like, love what you do. Like, cause he got kicked off of K-Wave about stuff, and it was awful. But he's just a sheep. He's just a weak man, because if you're gonna just defend Erika and hop on the whole defend widows train, you're gonna lose a lot of people. Because even I'm sure you've seen the clip of Candace, whatever lady was talking. She was like defending the widow.
Yeah, that's Dana Loesch.
Dude, it's so bad. And it's like, it's another thing of manipulating the Christian faith. Yes. Because it does say that in the Bible, wherever, I don't know if that's the Old Testament or whatever, it says defend widows or something. Yeah, newsflash, guys, whoever's watching this, Turning Point, regular people, I don't care. Being a widow doesn't mean you're guilty or not guilty of something.
Yeah.
Like, terrible, awful that happened. But let's take it to the extreme, right? Osama bin Laden's wife was a widow. Are we going to be like, dude, she's not guilty of anything? No. She was involved with a lot of that stuff, probably. Just because she's a widow, just because her husband died, doesn't mean she's like a saint and like absent from being criticized. So that's been their talking point for damn near a year, dude, is she's a widow. She has children. Cool. Do you know how many evil people had their husbands killed or have children? Like, I don't know why that's. Say why she's being truthful. Say why she's a good person. Say why she's pushing on Charlie's mission in the way that it should be. Or just being just truthful in general. But she hasn't done that. And I know I say, like, this is my opinion a lot, but so much of it is just blatantly false. Like the kid thing, like Charlie's stances on Iran and Israel, like just anything, dude. It's been really bad. I can't think of everything off the top of my head because there's so much. It reminds me of like clips of like Biden and Kamala ramping up to the 2024 election.
It is.
Yeah, I'd be talking to people like back then. I was talking to people like, dude, have you not seen that clip of him? Like, whatever, falling off the bike, not remembering this, blah 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 blah. Sometimes I just can't even remember half of it because there's so much. If there were like one or two, like if it was just the Zoom things about Erika, dude, I'd reference that. But there's been so much.
It's everything.
And last thing I'll say, and I'll let you speak. I'm freaking going off on a.
No, you're good. Keep going. No. You're doing good.
I love movies. Okay, I sound like a nerd when I say that, but I really do love movies. I love good performances. I love a good story. I love a good plot. I love good acting. I really do. Like Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone. Those are my goats. Those are my top two. When I see Erika Kirk talk, dude, it's not like that movie sucked. That performance was eh. No, she's like a bad actress. Like when I say like F tier, I mean it's the most disingenuous stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Whether it's actors, whether it's public speaking, whether it's politicians, motivational speakers. Because even as a Christian, it's not just the feeling thing like that you feel in your soul. Because if you were just going off of that, I'd be like, yeah, bro, you got to look at the facts still. But if you're following the truth, plus you kind of have that intuition in your heart and mind about like, I don't feel good about this, dude. Something about this feels like wrong and disingenuous and untruthful and just eerie. I've gotten that feeling ever since those Zoom things dropped. And I just, it gives me a bad feeling in my soul because there's so many people that I know so many people in Turning Point, dude. And I don't think they're all just evil people because you see Turning Point demonize people to follow Candace. Like, oh, you follow Candace, you're in the candy cult, you're mentally ill and all this stuff. I know so many great people in Turning Point that I'm sure they have great intentions, but at the end of the day, they're just sheep. I don't think they're like evil, terrible people. Some are, obviously, that we think of. But I'm just talking about like people my age, like college students. I've talked to chapter presidents, former chapter presidents, current Turning Point people all across the country. And a lot of them are great people. But unfortunately, people just, they don't want to be bold. And it really makes me sad because that's what Charlie championed. He said we have to be bold. There was a video of him talking like behind the scenes and he was saying conservatives naturally, like we conserve, we hold in what we want to protect, but we have to go on the offensive, dude. This was ramping up to 2024. And so many, I'm sure you've seen too. How many times have you seen on a college campus just a psycho liberal come up to a Turning Point table, flip it over, rip stuff up, even physically assault people, and all the Turning Point college students just stand there like, or someone has their phone like this. Dude, I'm not saying I'd like freaking box somebody, but I'd at least put my hands on somebody, pull them away and be like, get the hell off of us. What are you doing? Like one of the clips, there was some crazy trans chick like holding a pair of scissors and she was trying to pop the balloons. But one of the Turning Point college students just like turned her back to her with scissors in her hand. Yeah. And I'm like, I commented on it and I was like, we have to, especially men, because obviously I get chicks, like if you're in it and you're trying to be bold, I get it. Like ladies aren't supposed to naturally like call out evil in the public domain like that. And that's awesome when they do, but men should step up and protect people. And I see so many of these, like I really do say it a lot, but it's so true. It's low testosterone, 120-pound beta males that just do nothing. They do nothing. And it really makes me mad because even on our campus, when we got death threats and stuff, I try to be as truthful and loving as I can most times, but I would get in people's face on campus, just right down the street right here. I would get in people's face. I would challenge what they're thinking, but if they're like trying to trash our stuff or whatever, I got my fist cocked, dude. Like I'm ready to throw a 1-2 punch if I need to, if someone's going to pull a knife or a gun or anything, I don't care. So I talked to our the president of the university multiple times. I filed not complaint, whatever it is,
like a report.
Yeah, it was like a report to the university saying, hey, this guy threatened to kill us. This guy DM'd me on Instagram saying he was going to find me. These people were extremely racist to our black VP, like obviously calling her a coon, all this stuff. So, and you know what I heard back from that? I haven't even made a video about this, but I'll share this with you. And I'm not trying to like put somebody down, but if on top of you being a loser, you also don't take care of yourself, I just also have less respect for you. But our extremely obese, this black chick, she's the dean of students or whatever. I go to her, I talked to her in her office for an hour. And I honestly, dude, after all this happened, I had to start recording on my phone anytime I'd have a conversation with somebody, because I don't know what's going to happen.
It's just kind of smart. It's kind of smart to do that, sadly, in this day and age.
It really is. Like I started having to do that because I got kicked out of my church. Like the first, I'll get into that in a little bit.
They'll lie about it. They'll lie about what was said, what happened.
Dude. So I have this whole interaction with the dean of students, and she did not care at all. I'm talking about the death threats we got. I'm talking about all the stuff that's happening. Like we need to like, whether it's have security around our tables or whatever. She was like downplaying it, saying like, oh, maybe you just think it was that. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? So she was obviously like, dude, what was her screensaver? Oh my gosh. I sent it to our VP. It was like some BLM fist or something. It was a screensaver. I saw it and I was like, bro. So I haven't released that yet. I also haven't released the stuff in my church as well. I'm going to release that after September 10th. Like I'll release it after we're all talking about Charlie again, obviously. But just crazy stuff, dude. Like I won't get into the whole thing. Obviously, I'm going off on like a million different things, but I talked to my pastor of a church that I went to for 3 years in my college town. And I told him because I talked to him back when the election was happening. I was like, hey, can I talk just as a college student? I know you guys have people up like college students talking about missions trips, talking about on-campus events and stuff. Like, could I just have 5 minutes to talk about stuff about the election, why we should vote? Because a lot of people in the church were like, yeah, we're not going to vote. So I said that to him, got coffee with him, everything. And he ended up saying like, no, we're not going to do it. I'm just going to say my own thing. So I was like, okay, whatever. Fast forward to September 10th, 2 hours after he got shot. I texted my pastor. I was like, yo, I'm in Turning Point. Can I talk this Sunday just a little bit about it as my perspective as a Turning Point student, and just call it like being a young person, my perspective on the political world, how this impacts us, how we should react as Christians. And he was kind of just being like not respondy with me. And then I texted one of the lower pastors that were there. He texted him. Then he got back to me. Ultimately said, yeah, we're going to go a different direction. I went to church the first Sunday after Charlie got assassinated. The weakest sermon ever, dude. He was like, it's both sides. Like, we got to be higher than this, talking about the right and the left. And you got to remember, I always have to remind people, you have to remember your emotions of that week. Like, just imagine how the state of the world that week.
Yeah.
I'm just in the pews, like kind of just like this, just like freaking going through it, just sitting by myself. And he's saying all this stuff and my hands just go like this, dude. So I recorded all of this because I'm trying to be smart about stuff. I went up to my pastor of the church that I've gone to for 3 years. And I said this to his face. I said, I love you as a pastor. I've recommended you to so many people, but I think it's absolutely disgusting that you didn't call out the specific evil that we're facing in this country and in this world. I think it's disgusting. And he was like, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I was like, no, why didn't you say that? Like, what the heck? So I made a post on my Instagram. This was before Let Me React even started. This was like on my freaking regular account. And I posted the sermon, didn't post the name of the church, didn't post his name, just the sermon. And I said, this was my pastor's reaction after the Charlie Kirk assassination. 2 days later, I got a call from the lower pastor that I texted to text the main pastor.
Yeah.
Said, hey, can I meet with you? And we were talking about getting coffee before a little bit. So I was like, okay, give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's normal. I walk up to him.
They saw your video.
Yeah, I was like, hey, what's up? First thing he says to me, he goes, are you recording this conversation right now? I was like, no, I was. So I start talking to this dude. Haven't posted this either. I'm going to post this. I'm going to make a video titled, I got kicked out of my church, whatever. 2 hours and 47 minutes. I have this dude talking to me saying, you're an evil, deceitful person. You're a fake Christian. He was talking about like how the New Testament is greater than the Old Testament because all this stuff, like super, super bizarre stuff. He was like raging. He was hitting the table, all this stuff. I have all of this. And the thing is, he doesn't know I have all this. I'm not trying to put myself up, Matt, but I'm just saying this is high IQ gameplay. I texted him and I was like, bro, you're lucky I don't have a recording of our conversation because you were going crazy. So I said, you're lucky I don't have a recording to him. I have the whole thing. I haven't posted it yet. I just honestly, I don't have time to listen to 2 hours and 47 minutes of nonsense, but I'm going to do it to get
you gotta set the time aside to cut it up.
It's crazy, dude. So
to
just
the digestible parts.
Yeah. So just to encapsulate all of that, just kind of what we're talking about, just weak pastors, dude. It's really sad in this country how many weak pastors there are. And it's kind of why I've lost faith in the church. Not completely. I think church is a great thing. I think community is a great thing. Yeah. But I kind of shifted my mind when going to church from, okay, let me just like fully surrender, take it all in to, no, like, let me focus. Let me discern what this guy's saying. Let me see if it aligns with the Bible. Let me see if I'm actually hearing truth from this person. So it's honestly changed completely because that church that I went to, it was such a feel-good church. Like it was such like the worship music's so good. People are taking their shoes off. People are dancing at the front and stuff.
Yep.
But something gnarly like this happens, like Charlie Kirk getting assassinated. It exposes weak people. And just kudos to guys like you because I've seen your stuff before. It's great work. And I even said this about Candace 7 days after Charlie got assassinated. Didn't even start my page yet. It was just on my main thing. And Candace commented on the video because in the video I said Candace is not going to be right about everything. She's going to have a theory. It's going to be wrong. I'm not going to agree with everything she says. But it's far better to search for the truth than do nothing at all. Right. So kudos to you for doing stuff. It's freaking tough out here because I'm sure you have a lot more subscribers than I do. So, and you got a lot more people talking to. So it's good work. And I really like what you're doing. And I think it's what needs to be done because I feel like too many people agree with us, but they don't share that. And I think it's kind of like with your faith. Is like if you believe in Jesus and like you believe the Bible and everything, but you don't share that with the world, but you don't live that out, it's completely worthless. Yeah. So I'm not saying like politics is like on the same level as faith, but I think it's the same concept. Yeah. Is if you really believe in something, like put your voice behind it and actually don't be a coward with stuff. So
yeah. And so growing up in Southern California, I went to Jack Hibbs's church. He was my
senior really? Pastor. Chino Hills?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I lived in Rancho Cucamonga. And so then I lived, which is right next to Ontario. It's right next to Chino Hills. I grew up going to the Harvest Crusades all the time. Like I've met Greg Laurie, like I've met Frank Turek. I never knew about Rob McCoy. He was a smaller Calvary Chapel pastor. Same with James Cadiz. I only found out about them later. My first degree is in theology. I went to a Bible college in San Dimas. So like I wanted to do apologetics and be a pastor and all that. So like I knew about Frank through watching, like apologetic guys speaking. Like Lane is another one. But yeah, so like Greg Laurie has connections with his Romanian orphanage, and he allowed this guy to be in control of this orphanage for decades. And they knew that there was abuse going on. In fact, these other pastors had to force Greg Laurie's hand to do an independent investigation. And they found out this guy was abusing kids. Greg Laurie leaves him in place for a couple more years and gives him $17,000 a month for a couple more years, allowing him to victimize more kids, right? Rob McCoy does a sit down. He gives this guy a position in his church after he's been convicted, not just alleged and suspected of, convicted twice of doing things to young children. And Rob lets him work at the church and then does a podcast with them. I've done a lot of focusing on these guys because like I grew up like respecting them like I did, just like you. Grew up in Calvary Chapel. Like I went to North Coast Calvary Chapel down in Carlsbad, which is the senior pastor of his sons are Switchfoot. They're part of Switchfoot. And so like this was in surfing, Southern California surfing is like baked into Calvary Chapel, the Christian, hippie movement. And so like I grew up in this circle and like never would have thought that some of these guys, and I don't even really remember it being like as Zionist as it has become. Maybe that really started to become so much more in your face, like after like I moved away and I wasn't really seeing it. But like they brag about it. James Cadiz, Jack Hibbs, they say that they have like thousands and thousands of sermons just on Israel and our biblical like justification of why you have to support them as a Christian American. I definitely think that Charlie was, I go back and forth with this. Same with what you were saying early on and when you were talking, that Charlie distinguished a difference between the biblical people of Israel, right? And that there is clearly a history there of God's people that he has promises with, but that's not the government. That's not the Likud party, Bibi and his corrupt political friends. There's a difference, right? And Charlie was distinguishing that. And I think he was trying to navigate his affinity for Israel and for the Jewish people, but at the same time realizing that there's a lot of these Jewish donors and, you know, the people in control of the government that he was opposing because they were, you know, ethnically cleansing Gaza and killing people. And he was trying to navigate how to speak out about that without, like, you know, alienating all of his other Jewish friends. But he realized that it's an all or nothing. You can't even just a little bit criticize the government and any action of the, you know, country and the government leaders of Israel without being labeled an anti-Semite. And so I think he got stuck in between a rock and a hard place, and he chose the hard place. And so he's like, well, I'm just going to keep calling out the corruption, the evil, the murder, the genocide that's going on. And, you know, if I lose donors, he goes, whatever, man, you know, they play into all the stereotypes, but I'm not going to be bullied. The more you tell me not to do this, the more I'm going to do it. The more you tell me not to have Tucker and Candace on, the more I'm going to do it. And him and Megan say the same thing, and Tucker's the same way. So, I can't see that it's not related to that, right? Like he's opposing the war in Iran. The war in Iran was going to happen either way, right? I think that whole limited strike, the bombings in the nuclear power plants was a way to keep Charlie like a little bit quiet until they could take him out. If they would have gone through with the war in the summer, Charlie would have came out and been outspoken about it. They had to like appease him and make him think that no, it's just this limited strike. Trump and JD promised him. He goes out into his community and says, don't worry, I'm just going to trust my friends. They said this is it. This is going to be it. And then they had to take him out because they do Venezuela. Then the real war comes in February where we attack Iran.
Yeah, the Venezuela thing, yeah.
He would have been against that. That's another regime change. Yeah, he would have been. They waited to get Charlie out of the way before they did some of these big things. The whole binders and not releasing any of the files, that didn't come until after either, right? It had started before, but they told him to stop talking about it. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to not talk about it for a little bit, just for now. I'm going to trust my friends. They said they're going to handle it. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Bongino, JD, and Trump. But then they take him out. And then what do we find out? Oh, there's nothing to see here. There was no bigger network. He wasn't working for Mossad and the CIA. There was no other victims. Nothing to see here. Move on. If Charlie was alive over the last 11 months, we would have had Candace, Tucker, Megan, him, and it would have been Jones. Yeah, it would have been the end. It would have been the end of everything. Of the JD would not have a chance to run in 2028. If Charlie was still alive when this happened, Charlie's not supporting and endorsing JD in 2028.
Who do you think would be the option?
I think he might run. I think he might have decided to run. I think that he said that he never had ambition to do so. I know that, but I think
so did Trump though. So did Trump.
Right, but I think he either would have supported Massey if Massey's going to do it. But I think that if he realized that he was in such a position that like literally the nation of Christian conservative Republicans like loved him and that he actually had a real chance to win, knowing that the political system is so broken, it's so corrupt that anyone that gets elected to be the primary candidate for either party is going to be Israel's pony, that he would have, I don't know, I think that he would have came to the conclusion that like he had no choice, that it was the only way to save the country.
Honestly, I'm not completely disagreeing with that, because in my mind, my whole thought was like, okay, he could have been like JD's VP and then go to that. But if you're saying
that was supposed to be the plan, I think. Yes. Yeah. But if Charlie was around for all this, I don't think he would have been his VP.
I agree with that. Yeah, because if you're saying if it just got to a point where it was so gnarly to where he's like, screw it, I'll do like freaking Thanos moment, screw it, I'll do it myself, then he just does that, then Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
He's not going to want Kamala and Newsom to get elected, right?
No.
And if he's around for the
AOC.
whole last 11 months and realizes that Trump and JD lied to all of us, lied to him. He promised, like, on behalf of Trump and JD, that he's the reason why they ended up getting elected, that 2.5 million votes that's attributed to low propensity voters. He's the one that swung it in their favor. If he realized that he's complicit in getting the country to trust them, and then they lied to all of us and they lied to him, he would have felt betrayed by them.
Yeah, it's crazy how we literally live in like an alternate timeline now to how like it's just the world changed. Like we have no idea what would have happened.
It's like 9/11. I know. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 24, but so I was actually born a month after 9/11 happened. I was born October 01.
So I could tell you exactly where I was. I was 16. It's much like what you experienced on September 10th, right? You know where you were, like everything about that day. You'll remember it for the rest of your life. And you also know there's a delineating line. It's like our life before the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the world after. And it's like totally different. 9/11 was like that for me when I was 16. And it's gonna be like that. And I think that I agree that we're like in this alternate reality now, that it's a different world. We weren't as awake on the whole Israel thing, the corruption, like there's so much we really didn't know, that like literally Charlie being murdered and then them lying to us. I think that's what did it. Not just Charlie getting murdered, Charlie being murdered and us finding out everything and then watching JD, Trump, BB, Erika, and TPUSA lie about it. Then that's like they unmasked themselves and we were like, oh shoot, that's what's going on.
It's like a God thing almost, because like I said, Candace was saying like he like what you're supposed to do is gonna change the world. And just seeing how that all played out, it's so, because I remember even where I was when like Kobe died. Like I remember what I was doing, where I was. But then you look at stuff like so much more gnarly, so many more things behind the scenes that happen with this.
For sure.
It's like, it's crazy. So I don't know. I don't like when people are being so disingenuous while trying to speak on the behalf of a dead man. I think it's disgusting.
They're shoving words in his mouth. They're totally lying about it all. They're totally disingenuous.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a very, because it's been 11 months. It doesn't even feel like that. It feels like it was like 5 months ago. But
did you hear? Do you watch Baron Coleman?
Yeah, a good amount. Yeah.
I watched a snippet of what he was talking about tonight, and it looks like that TPUSA was trying to have the 1 year memorial possibly at UVU in the courtyard.
Oh, didn't they cancel it? I thought I saw.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about, that it ended up being canceled because like maybe they realized that's probably not going to be a great idea. Not going to look good. But that it seems like that they were planning that. And that's kind of like par for the course with them, right? That they do these things that are provocative and like morbid. Even like Erika even said it like in that, Zoom call, not to be morbid. My husband's dead. She does the video of her in the casket. Like all of what they end up doing is like capitalizing on how tragic and graphic and traumatic this whole thing has been. And they have no issue. Do you remember when she was asked about where he was buried? And she's like, can I just have one thing? Can I just have one thing? And then she's like, but I'm building the most miraculous memorial for him. It's going to be like a extravaganza. Can't with her, dude.
Even at AmFest, I will say this, dude. I didn't even know when we were standing in front of it. I made friends with a lot of the TPUSA people at Appalachian State. Shout out App State. Those people are great. But we were at the tent that you could take pictures under. And I'm being totally honest. Like, I really do try to stay aware of stuff, Matt. Like, I'm trying to stay locked in all the time. I had no idea that's what that was. I really didn't. I took a picture in front of that thing. Like 20 minutes later, one of my friends was like, that's like the tent he got assassinated in, right? And I was like,
it's not the original.
It's a replica.
Yeah, correct.
But he was like saying like it's the same thing.
They wanted it to be the same thing, correct?
Yes, dude. And that I know that got greenlit by Elizabeth McCoy, and she got the green light from Erika.
Yes.
So this wasn't some like random thing that like, oh crap, we shouldn't have done that. This was like thought about. And I made the analogy. I forgot the name of who I was talking to on this other show. It was like the All In podcast or something. Sorry, I butchered the name. But I was saying it would be the equivalent of if, like when JFK got assassinated, they got the car or replica of the car that he got freaking murked in.
Yep.
And you could like take pictures in it. Like you could sit in the seat that he got killed in. It's like, what
You want to know what's kind of sad? Have you ever been to Dealey Plaza?
in Dallas?
Yeah, where he was murdered.
No.
They've kind of done that. So on the street,
Really?
so they've kind of done that. Not here. I'll explain because I've been there because I lived outside of Dallas for a year.
Okay.
My wife's family is out there, but there's the spot where his car was on the street right when he got shot. There's a big yellow X, and people can go take pictures on the X. Right. Also, you have the book depository building where Lee Harvey Oswald took the shot, but he didn't. But anyways, that's like a whole museum just about JFK being assassinated. You pay to go in, and it like you go through the whole thing, and it has like pictures and videos and stuff of JFK's. I have a feeling like that they're building something like that for Charlie. We know that they have the mic in the glass case, his mic, the mic, right? They put it out at Mar-a-Lago, and they used it to get donors to donate. She also,
I remember that. You're like reminding me of all this psychotic stuff.
She took pictures of his private letters to her and sent them in letters to donors saying, this is a private letter Charlie sent to me as his wife of how he could serve me better. Here you go. Here's like a freaking a token of his love for me. Donate money, please.
I swear I got one of those emails, something like that.
You probably did.
Or a message like that. Dude, I made a TikTok like this like a month ago because I keep getting Turning Point letters in the mail.
That's what I saw you first. That's the one I saw when you're opening the letter and they're asking college students to donate.
It's like so bad.
Tell it.
Okay, so first of all, this video got like 500,000 views and then TikTok flagged it and I had to appeal it because it probably got automatically flagged just for, I don't know. I didn't do anything wrong, but
yeah, you didn't.
So I got 2 letters like back-to-back days. And one of them was like Riley Gaines was talking or whatever. And then the other one was Erika. Dude, God, I wish I had it. I threw that hoe away. But it's freaking, it's so bad because it's like, this was Charlie's mission and this is what he wanted. And then it has a freaking envelope for you to send a check or money to. Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, cool. I understand that Turning Point is a nonprofit. I understand you guys are trying to raise money. However, when your CEO and founder gets assassinated, not even murdered, assassinated. Like this is a coordinated thing. It wasn't like a random dude stabbed him on the bus. Like
right.
Assassinated in broad daylight. You're asking a college student, I'm sure thousands and thousands and thousands of other college students get these too, for money in the name of Charlie Kirk. Like
not just that, the volunteers that are already actually providing value to the organization through your work that you're not getting compensated for. You're literally working for free for all the things that you do. So you're already helping the organization. They ask those students to give their own money to an organization that now is worth over $1 billion. By the time she sent you that, it was 500 million. Did you know that she also made $20 million personally just from the Give, Send, Go that Tucker Carlson set up for her?
I remember that.
She personally made $20 million. She got that life insurance policy that was written for this new CEO. She has her salary that she says she's donating. I don't know that I believe it. We'll see the tax documents, but she's made more money than anyone else. And they attack Candace and Barron and anyone that's made money off making videos. And it's like, it's so hypocritical. It's insane. It's
because I hear stories like Aubrey Leitch, like we were talking about. I hear stories about her who put on I'll use Erika's words, put on the event of the century, even though I don't know how you're going to call it that. But anyways, she's treated so poorly. So I'm trying to think of how they think about as normal college students that are in Turning Point. Like they must think we're just like slaves, basically. And that's what Candace was saying. She was saying that about Turning Point. She was saying that even about the military, like freaking respect to the military. Thank you for your service, especially you too. Like my uncle was a sergeant in the military. Like I have so much respect. But I totally agree with Candace when she was saying, if you don't sign up anymore because you're going to go fight for the United States of Israel. That's how
I
it is.
agree with that. I'm prior service. I was in the Marine Corps for 5.5 to like 6 years, and because I was on a medical hold. But I wouldn't tell my kids to serve, and I wouldn't have anyone sign up until like, especially now with this whole like they're going to merge our militaries. Like get out of here, get out of here.
So stuff like that. It's crazy, but I also did want to say this too, because I never even said this anywhere, but some people have been like, oh, so you were within Turning Point headquarters and you like are an inside person, you know all this information. And I just want to put this out there because even some psycho, I know he tagged you in it too. I don't know if you saw it, but some psycho dude did like a whole investigation workup on me.
On X?
Huh?
On X? Was it?
Yes, and Instagram. Some dude named Sean. I don't care, but
Sean like Campbell?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's crazy. Don't worry about it.
He's a psychopath. He like brought up like my photography account and like some gym content.
He doxes people.
Yeah, so it was like I'm not even getting him the time of day. But anyways, it's stuff like that Candace has been dealing with. But to go back to like Aubrey and like Turning Point people, I don't understand how my opinions or my knowledge or my connections get invalidated because I didn't like work hand in hand with Erika or Andrew. It's like this. Like if you are an Apple worker, right? Like Steve Jobs, like Apple. Mm-hmm. And you work at a huge store like down in freaking San Diego or something, but you don't work at Apple headquarters. Does that mean you're not an Apple employee? Like, of course not. You're still an Apple employee. You just don't work at the headquarters. Right. And I would actually argue that if you are a college student working for Turning Point on your campus, that's actually more important work than doing a desk job for them or something, or being like a social media manager, because you're the boots on the ground. Yeah. You're the people that Charlie tried to speak to. You're the people that are getting the death threats to their face. Like Erika, she can claim all the death threat stuff she wants. I think the majority of it is BS.
Yeah.
I think some of it's been crap.
It's inflated. Yeah.
Yeah. But you want to talk about people that have been harassed and people that have actually taken abuse and harassment from people. It's people, college students within Turning Point. Yeah. But then it's all about Candace is evil, widow. And I'm sitting here like, I quit, but I still have respect and admiration for people that have gone out there, people like me that have gone out there in the midst of death threats and stuff. I think if you defend them nowadays, I think you're a sheep for sure.
For sure.
I'm just talking about like it was University of Arkansas, Dino Fantagrassi. He was the chapter president. He was on the Charlie Kirk show. I was on Real America's Voice on Joe Bob's show. Like, we have talked to these people. We have been on their shows. We've been invited on their shows.
Can I ask you two things real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So, okay. What did you think of Jim Bob?
Joe Bob?
Yeah, Joe Bob, whatever. What do you think of him? Because he's been on their show recently since Charlie's assassination. Really? Yeah, he goes on and attacks Candace. They have him on from time to time. He's a sheeple too. What did you think when you met him?
So there's a whole chain on my Twitter somewhere. I won't make you find it. It's pretty down there. It was like 3 weeks ago. But so I got on his show because we were talking about stuff I did on campus for Turning Point stuff, but I went to a Pride church. This was back in October of last year. I went to a Pride church, like LGBTQ church, and I wore a shirt that says, I love Jesus and Jesus loves you. And I went in there and my dad was recording for me. Shout out to my dad. He's the go for that. And this is 20 minutes from where my family lives.
Okay.
Pride church in Texas. I go in there. I talked to no one, 0 people. I got kicked out of there within 3 minutes. Crazy stuff by the lesbian pastor that was in there. And I made a video about it. I got escorted out by the police that were there. They had like 10 police officers surrounding with like 6 different cruisers surrounding this freaking Pride church that no one cares about. But they had children there. And this is my thing. If you want to chop off your body parts, if you want to dress like a chick, go ahead and do that, dude. But the second that you bring children in there, I'm going to kick the door in. And I didn't even do that. I was nice and I was respectful. And I was just going in there to talk to people about Jesus. But I got kicked out of there. And I made a video about it, got like freaking 2 million views on Instagram. And that's kind of how I started kind of interviewing people more. I wanted to go out and just like get people's opinions about stuff, obviously separate from the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff. Yeah.
Go ahead, finish, and then I'll ask you a question.
Yeah. So that was the one of the main points that me and Joe Bob were talking about.
Okay.
Kind of on a show.
What happened to Dino? Dino wrote a letter in opposition of everything. And then he was like, but then he was like forced to recant. And
partially, I think.
Correct. Right. Or at least pressure was applied for some reason, because if you read the letter, it's very clear of how he feels. And then it's like a couple days or a week later, there's like this partial like retraction. And Dino's the one at the sit down with Andrew Colvett Charlie Kirk and the
Yes.
chapter leads, and he's wearing his Arkansas hat, and
Yep.
he's going max. And even when I saw that back in when I first saw it in like I don't
July
know,
or something.
well, that's when it first came out. But after Charlie, when I replay it, because now I'm like reevaluating and looking at Andrew and watching him be a little snake in that whole thing. I'm like, why didn't they approach people like now? I'd be like you or like Dino, and instead of having Jack Posobiec or Cabot Phillips or Frank Turek who were pushed out there, or even Blake Neff doing the pick up the mic, why didn't they have chapter students like you guys go out there and do some of these pick up the mic? Like, why didn't they actually pick student? Well, I know the answer. It's because they can't control what you're going to say. And you would have been like a true part of Charlie's legacy. But do you know what happened to Dino? He never responded to my message I sent him on X.
I feel like he's a little absent from social media. Like he kind of just threw in the towel with that stuff. I mean, I could
only imagine what maybe happened
behind the scenes. Yeah, he did. I remember he did say, we talked to Turning Point directly, and we're only going to disclose this one statement publicly. And he was like super nice about it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, we kind of want to know what they said.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know some people like that, to where they'll like say some big thing on social media and then they'll just go dark. Like, I partially get it, but at the same time, with all of this stuff progressing, with all the lies coming out, he'd be a great guy to have on a show or to talk about stuff. Because I wasn't a chapter president, like he was. I'm sure he. I mean,
he's so articulate. He's so smart. Like he was with Charlie. Charlie was like when Dino was going off. Charlie was like, dude, he's agreeing with everything he's saying, and I was like, Dino would be such a good person, to put out there. And I was just so bummed that obviously he's concerned. He's I don't know if he's afraid, but he's definitely like concerned about putting himself back out there after everything, because he never responded. And all I said was that I was happy that he wrote his initial letter. It was before he wrote his partial retraction. And that I'd love to talk with him off the record. But I get it. I mean, it's a big behemoth that we're all going up against. Erika Kirk, TPUSA, it's connected to the government. It's not something a lot of young kids, in their 20s wants to fight right now. They have the rest of their life. They have future job applications, LinkedIn's and all that to think about. And I get it that, for some people, they just don't want to take on that giant, No,
100%. I was looking through my letter because I know I mentioned him and his quotes in it.
Dino's dope.
Yeah, he was one of the guys kind of on the same note as Aubrey. Resigned. Because I had 3 main points of kind of why I quit. It was Erika Kirk, Aubrey Leitch, and Candace Owens. Just kind of, it's 23 pages long. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that, hearing, and what's crazy? I know you remember this, was he wrote that letter 2 weeks after Erika visited Arkansas.
Correct. Yes.
And because she was speaking to the mayor or whatever, and it was
Huckabee's daughter.
Yes, dude. And dude, it was so savage because I remember when I read that letter, when all that happened, I was like, bro, she went there and then they just deleted the chapter right after she got there.
Like, so think about that, dude. Think about that. He must have interacted with her.
Maybe, but she didn't go to the campus. It was in state, but it was at a different event.
Like far away or close? Like, you don't think that some of the chapter leads would have gone to that?
Maybe.
Would have been invited to be there? I'd have to go look at the photo that they're taking there and see if any of the older, because it was like at a high school, right? They did it like a high school or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say that he would have mentioned that in his letter, but at the same time, he said they didn't disclose everything publicly, so that could be either way.
Well, then I wonder what it was that after, or maybe you think it's just he watched the speech?
I'm trying to remember what the reason was.
I mean, there was a lot. So I wonder if either it's everything that had happened up to that point, and then that might have just been the straw that broke the camel's back, listening to her and Huckabee, the whole speech that they gave, maybe just was too much for him. And, and that's why I think like a lot of people would love to sit down and talk with him, even off the record, just to know, like, not even to like put it out there, not even to make a video about it, just to know, would be great. But
well, dude, he if you go to the end of my video, because I know he rebranded or was it the other? No, I'm thinking of the other college. Was it? Did they quit or did they rebrand? I think they rebranded.
Who?
Was it Arkansas that rebranded? They like turned Turning Point into something else, or am I thinking of something else?
I mean, they might have. I don't remember. Oh, like the chapter? Like
Yeah, they turned it into like.
Oh, that actually sounds familiar now that you're saying it.
I know it's in here,
but I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh my gosh, you have so many posts on your videos. It's like way far away, like down, huh?
On what?
On your X, your video.
For what video?
The one that you were saying, where you were talking about Dino, right?
Oh, it's in my quit video. Don't on YouTube.
Is that the one that's pinned at the top?
That the letter's pinned at the top, but the video is just on my YouTube channel. Like the video
on your
is,
YouTube. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the video is me reading that letter.
Yeah, I got it.
Like it's the exact same wording.
Oh, you uploaded it not as a live. It's just a video. There you go.
Yeah, it's just a video.
Let me see. Still makes you click that stupid button.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's towards the end.
Okay. Let me share it. I got it. I got it pulled up.
Cool.
Stupid mouse. Battery's not working, but I just put a new battery in it, so I don't know why it's not behaving. All right, here we go.
Let's see.
There we go. And it's towards the end.
Oh, I found it. It's at timestamp. I guess let's start at. Let's start at. I'm gonna skip that. 34:57.
Okay.
I'm just. It's probably 2 minutes, a minute or two into that.
Okay. 34:50.
It's around there.
Right there. All right, ready? Oh, it's muted because there we go.
This was the turning point of this country, and things will never be the same. These past 7 months have taught me a lot. Demons truly do walk among us. And the type of sinister evil can only be defeated by one thing, Jesus Christ. As myself and others were completely and constantly mocked and receiving death threats, and after meeting with the president of Texas State University multiple times.
Oh, wait, you know what? That might have been it, bro.
What?
That might be why your video was dinged.
What? The
pictures of people. It can't tell if it's real blood or not. The AI.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
I don't want to. Did you get a strike when you did yours? Do you have a strike?
Nope.
No. Is there any more videos of that?
No, I don't think so.
On there? All right.
No. That specifically, no.
Times, I really had to ask myself if it was all worth it. Was standing up for Charlie, Erika, and TPUSA really worth getting all this evil thrown my way? And I believed it was. Charlie's relentless pursuit of the truth and his mission to help others truly inspired me and has made me a better man to this day. Every day I went out there to talk to people on and off campus, I had to mentally prepare. I had to ask myself if our chapter was attacked, if there was a shooting, a stabbing, whatever, any scenario where lives were at risk because of political violence, would I be okay with dying as I was preaching the gospel as a member of Turning Point USA? I was. I made peace with that because I truly thought what I was standing up and fighting for was right. For anyone reading this who is interested in joining TPUSA at Texas State University, this message is for you. If you are looking for some like-minded, bold, conservative friends to make on campus, you will find that in this chapter.
That was so nice.
Our leadership has been outspoken and unafraid to voice their opinions on campus, and I will always admire that because it is not easy to do. I specifically want to shout out our college field representative for the Alamo region, Lillian Gustafson, and the college deputy director at TPUSA, Ashley Glasgow. These two women have genuinely given me a different perspective on the political world.
Those are the ones that unfollowed you?
Yes, dude. I was friends with them. I was. There was no, hey, we disagree with you. We can't associate. No, just nothing. Nothing. Just unfollow you. Don't deal with you anymore. Crazy, dude. But right after this is when I mentioned the rebranding thing.
Their professionalism and drive for success has been one of the highlights during my time in TPUSA, and I genuinely wish both of them and anyone in our chapter the best in whatever they decide to do moving forward. Now, again, to the leadership of the Turning Point USA chapter at Texas State University. I've loved getting to know all of you and being able to relate with our shared love and grief of Charlie Kirk and the mission he fought for. However, I can no longer in good conscience associate myself with the current TPUSA organization that we see today. After my independent research and the outspoken voices of former TPUSA employees, along with others looking for answers. I truly believe in my heart and with a critical thinking mind that Turning Point USA died with Charlie Kirk on that day. I strongly urge the leadership of the TPUSA chapter at Texas State University to follow the example set by the University of Arkansas by dissolving your affiliation with Turning Point USA and rebranding your registered student organization as Young American Revival at Texas State University.
I made that logo. That looks sick, by the way.
That is a cool logo.
Just saying. They can still do that if they want to. You can use it. I'll let you. But
Oh, it froze.
Young American Revival, that's what University of Arkansas did. Sorry, I
There we
forgot
go.
when I mentioned that in there. But
No, you're good.
yeah. They were great. That letter he wrote,
Yeah.
great. The fact that they did that. And I would actually agree that instead of just dissolving and having nothing to do with it, the fact that they renamed it and still wanted to like push conservative values and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where they're at today. That was months ago that I saw that, but huge respect for that, because I think it's literally pushing on Charlie's mission in a better way than they could have done with associating themselves with Turning Point.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm gonna have to edit that out. I paused it. I went back.
That one, the Halloween costumes.
Yeah. That's what did it. So if you wanted that video to be undinged, you just would need to edit that part out.
I guess I didn't realize that because I put like a million different screenshots in that video.
You're good. I'm trying to back up to where I can still show your channel to give everyone. So if you guys want to follow Mason, you can go to Let Me React on his YouTube channel here. Subscribe. It looks like a lot of people already have. Do you remember what you were at before the show started?
I feel
You're at 3,740.
like 3.6.
Yeah, I think you were at 6. Yeah. And then here, let me back up. Oh, those are the videos. And then here is his X profile as well, if you guys want to give him a follow on X. All right. Awesome. Yeah, well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on, dude. And hopefully this won't be the last time we can do this again. You know, and I have Matthew Tuzzaroni on regularly and Meech as well. And maybe down the line, we have like all 4 of us on one together. I think it would be good.
Yeah, dude, his name's Meech. I feel
he goes by Mitchell. I mean, his name is Mitchell, but he goes by Meech or Artifacts Memoir.
I just call him Artifacts. I don't even know. No, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great, because we've been bouncing thoughts off of each other for a while, and it's actually hilarious because I remember I like posted the same video he did one time. We were kind of beefing for a little bit because he was like, "Why didn't you give me credit for that or whatever?" But then I DM'd him and I was like, "Bro, can we stop fighting? Like, we're on the same side. Like, come on." And we were like, "Okay, we're good."
He could be intense, that's for sure.
He's got some good stuff. Like,
yeah.
And I will say this, like I said, not everybody's gonna be right about stuff. He's posted stuff I disagree with. So is Candace.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So the only person I follow is Jesus Christ. That's it.
Yes.
But yeah, let's definitely do this again. I think they decide if it's going to trial on September 1st, if the Robinson case, if I'm remembering correctly.
The prosecution already put out their bindover brief, which is their final arguments for why they think they met probable cause. We have to wait for the defense to give their rebuttal in response to that, and then on I think it's the first, there's going to be like 4 hours of oral arguments. I don't know if the cameras will be allowed in for that or not. And then after that, the judge is going to deliberate. I don't know if he has to rule that same day or over the weekend. I don't know. So it could be, September, 5th or 6th, whatever, when we finally find out. I don't think they've met probable cause, but I think that it's going to go to trial. I don't think that there's any way this judge, it's his first appointment. He's a brand new judge. I don't think there's any way he can get away with, saying, I don't know. I think it's going to go to trial, or they're going to take Tyler out like they did Lee Harvey Oswald, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like obviously that thought's in our head, but I feel like it's such a looked on case. Like, but then again, Levi Harvey Oswald, obviously that was like 60 years ago, but still same.
Bro, I mean, you said
stuff.
you've done like research on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you know how many things are the exact same?
Who killed him? That Rose? What was that guy's name that killed Harvey Oswald?
Jack Ruby.
Ruby, not Rose. Ruby. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, it is crazy because like I've looked at the Zapruder film of like growing up and everything. And I said, I said this a week ago or something, but I was like, yeah, there's like a couple suspicious things in that, like obviously the driver returning, whatever you want to say. If I had to like really decipher it and think, I could name like what 4 suspicious things maybe. I'm sure there's more that you probably know more about it than I do. When we're looking at September 10th, dude, the list is like the freaking Bible. It's like a plethora of weird, suspicious, uncanny things that happened that day. That's what I said. I used the word uncanny. I said this on my live the other day. I was like, I don't really use this word that often because it's such a niche word, but it was uncanny how many weird, suspicious things, things that happen, devices with the mic, the chair, the freaking anything, the shirt, the under the shirt, getting in the car, SUV, everything, the cameras being taken off, everything. Terrell Farnsworth. We could talk about this for hours, but it's another reason why people don't believe Tyler did it, because if it was so obvious and so him, why were we told for months that it was a trans furry that killed him? When we saw Robinson and Twiggs in court, I'm like, that dude's trans? No, he doesn't look trans. And then on top of that, he was like, yeah, we never talked about LGBTQ trans issues ever.
Or Charlie.
Charlie
mentioned Charlie once.
Yes, he just said we talked about Trump a couple times.
Yep.
And that dude, I'm kind of with Candace on that. Like, I'm not fully on the train of like, yeah, he is, but there's a good chance that dude is just a straight up fed dude. That he's like just deep into it. Like, I don't know.
I think there's a greater chance that he's a Fed and he was part of this and it was all part to try to get it all pinned on Tyler. That's a greater chance than Tyler's the lone gunman. So
yeah, it's like, also it's like the fact that they called death upon Tyler Robinson, like they want
right away.
They want him in the electric chair. In my mind, I'm thinking like, of course, during the time I posted a video about it. I was like, Tyler Robinson should be put to death immediately. That I put a video out there that said that. But nowadays I'm thinking like, if we want to know what happened to Charlie Kirk, he needs to stay alive for as long as it takes. I don't care if it takes 5 years. If we have to question stuff and talk to people, interview people, go to court for 5 straight years, so be it. Like, I'm patient when it comes to stuff like this. And it's a very specific thing, obviously, but I don't understand well, I do understand they want him taken out, but it's again how you lose people. If something is so blatantly obviously not true, and you're calling not jail, you're calling death upon people, like, we need swift justice for this. It's like, do you even care about finding out what happened? But then again, their view on it is they know what happened. They know it was Tyler. They know there was no foreign involvement. And that's where I think you and I stand, and so many other people, including Candace, is we're not ruling out that it was Tyler. Like, obviously we can think like, in my opinion, I don't think it was him. But are we saying like, I 1,000% know it wasn't him? No, dude, we're just asking questions. Like Charlie said, he said, you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps you free. And it's so true, because even growing up, like I was taught to not lie, be bold, and to be unapologetic about who you are in your faith and what you do. And seeing people be disingenuous and obviously just follow a coordinated psyop lie, whether it's the courtroom stuff, whether it's, I could list 50 different things. But like I said, it's how you lose people. And I think more people are going to tune into stuff like this, like your show and other people's shows, and like Candace and Barron and Ian Carroll and all these other people, is because it's not like it's just like for entertainment. If something's entertaining, there's got to be some truth in there somewhere. If someone's just spewing lies, that's not going to get millions of views. So views aren't everything, but when the voice of the people is obviously overwhelmingly more popular than the said show that should be the most popular show in the world, you should ask why that is. And I think that's a really important question, because we've been lied to since the beginning. And I think it's really important too, because I remember the video that I posted 7 days after he got assassinated that Candace commented on just my regular Instagram.
Yeah.
Was I was criticizing Rob McCoy and even JD Vance, because JD was like, save the debate for after the funeral. And then Rob McCoy was like, Candace, you should just be the friend that he would have been to you if this happened to you.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here barely a week after it happened, like, why do you want her to stop talking? Why is that? And then obviously we get into like Rob McCoy and his connections and stuff, and Mikey McCoy. And I still think we'll get into like, if we want to talk about footage a different day or like the prelim stuff a different day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we'll definitely get into all that.
I will say, last thing I'll say just about that day is I think I'll say 3. The 3 most suspicious people, in my opinion, on that day, in order, are Brian Harple, Terrell Farnsworth, and Mikey McCoy. Without a doubt. We can add others. We can say that. But in my opinion, that's my top 3 in my head, because Brian, obviously, he's got the credentials to pull something off like this. He just does.
Yeah.
And then Terrell Farnsworth, that whole thing is so bizarre. And then Mikey's like, I think he's like barely older than me, but if my best friend gets shot in the face right in front of me, why are you walking away calmly without looking back, phone to your ear immediately?
0.8
seconds. It wasn't like this, Matt. It wasn't like, oh my God, what just happened? No, it was
calmly just
walk away.
So weird.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
He wasn't afraid of another shooter, of any other kind of attack coming. He didn't duck. He didn't hide. He didn't scream. No.
Yeah. Neither was they didn't. Why didn't the security look for another shot coming?
Yeah.
Why were
there's
they
so many questions, bro.
It's just all focused on Charlie. So like I said, we can get on all that, but appreciate you having me on. It's been good. I always love like kind of talking about information that we already know, because it's good to like remind ourselves and just kind of stay sharp on it.
Yeah.
Because you got to remind yourself the psychos that we're dealing with, because
so much has happened since September.
Yeah.
So much,
I don't think it's like just like a difference of opinions we have with these people. No, I think there truly is a satanic, demonic agenda that's happening behind the scenes, because we can talk about all the evidence. I think we don't think about this enough. I want you to like really think about this. Is we can talk about all the things that we've seen, all the video recordings we've heard, all the footage we've seen. We got to think like there's stuff behind the scenes that's happened and that is still happening that we just have no idea about. And that has to be a category in the back of our head when we're looking at all this stuff, because what we're seeing and hearing isn't all of it. It's just not. And I would argue that most of it isn't, because I think that it is a God thing with stuff coming out. Like even the picture of her kids being fake. Like I low-key think that's like a God thing. Like the public needed to see that and see that she was lying.
Yep.
And even the internal call that Candace leaked.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that I said this the other day. If two things happened, if Trump was transparent about the files and Erika and Turning Point didn't lie, the conservatives and Republicans would have full control of the political world.
I agree.
Full control. We would not be in the midst of a civil war right now. But we are in the midst of a gnarly civil war right now. People, even the Joshua guy that I'll probably debate, and you can be the moderator, but he's saying people should be in jail for speaking, basically. And people trying to dox Candace. I'm sure you saw the thing that Gary, the group chat he was in, of them trying to dox her and stuff. All crazy, dude. So, like I said, we can talk about this for hours, but at the end of the day, Jesus is king and the truth will always prevail. And I don't care about money. I don't care about clout. I will call out evil people and defend the truth and children and anything good on this earth until the day I die. That's just what I stand for.
Yeah, I believe that too. And I see that in you. So I'll message you on through X. I'll DM you of potential other things that we can do together. All right. Cool.
100%. And I do want to say shout out to my dad, because he's given me a lot of wisdom on all this stuff, and he's very wise in the political world with a lot of stuff. And I remembered you talked about Switchfoot. If I'm remembering this correctly, I'll have to have him hop on a live sometime for a couple minutes or something. But him and my mom were at, I think it was like in an apartment or something before Switchfoot even started, but they were like playing or something, and they like kind of knew them a little bit before they kind of took off.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. The SoCal connections are always cool to think about.
Yeah.
I think in my opinion, it's the best place in the country. It's just a mess over there right now, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Going back there, it was bittersweet, because it's like beautiful and I have all these memories, but then it's like, it's not the same place. I haven't been there in like 12 years. And so it's like totally different. But you know, it'll always hold that like the little special place in your heart because it's like your childhood growing up. You have all these memories.
100%. Good stuff.
All right, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, man. Good stuff.
All right. I'll reach out to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, later, bro. All right, you guys. Let's get to it. Because I did 2 streams today. My back is cramping. Let me get through all these. Okay. We got Chris O. Christian became a member. Thank you so much. Jackie Jones, thank you for the flower. I'm really hoping I don't have to edit the video. I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous that those the pictures of the people that were mocking Charlie, that's what that little piece on the screen was. It's people dressed up in really disgusting costumes mocking Charlie. And I'm really hoping that it was so short that it won't ding the video. I'm a little nervous. All right. Tamara Foote became a member. Welcome to the team. Thank you, Carrie, for gifting the Blackline Brief membership. Thank you so much for the balloon. Thank you for the gifts, you guys. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Heather. Wait. Okay, I did that one. All right. Thank you, Queen Izzy Day. Or Day. Thank you, Queen Izzy Day. Turn it up. Chris O. Christian. We need to keep all these points at the forefront. They want us to forget everything. These lads are disgusting. I'm not forgetting anything. Got a lockbox up here. And all my stuff's on here. So we have a catalog of my thoughts for eternity until they delete us. Thank you for the trophy. Boogaboo. Boogaboo. Military assets are cosplaying as pastors infiltrating our faith. Yeah, mocking pastors, Calvary Chapel mocking pastors, 100%. Thank you, Lisa Johns, for the Unk gift, and Tamara for the floating heart. Am I the MVP? TK Nezzy, am I the MVP? We got Edge. Hi, Mason and Matt. Eminem. We got it. My thoughts on the E-files. CK found out EK, Erika Kirk, is in them and zipped it. Andrew Colvett met with Donald J. Trump. Then Charlie Kirk met with Donald J. Trump and clammed up. In my opinion, that was the beginning of the end for them. Ad isn't real. It's over. Oh, like is real. Isn't real. Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. There's connections of her working for that Cochrane group that, handled property for Jeffy Epi. So, yeah, he would have been done if he found out that she had any kind of affiliation with that. The new shirts have Charlie Kirk's face. What? New Charlie Kirk shirts have Charlie Kirk's face when he was shot? What are you talking about? Turning Point? No way. Can someone send me an image of it? I don't see any of the ones coming up. Yeah, you'd have to send it to me. I don't see it. I don't see that. That's crazy if that's true. That's insane. Thank you so much for the gift, Delaney. Thank you, Lily Miller, for the finger heart. Dang, XX Murdex. You're doing a great job. God bless you and your family. Thank you so much for that generous gift. Thank you. Tamara, Matt, please show the shirt being branded by TPUSA. Can you send it to me? I just Googled it. I can't find it. I'll do it again. New Charlie Kirk TPUSA shirt. Dude, yeah, I don't. Official TPUSA merch. You also just don't believe everything you see online because it may not be faith and family. Sure. All right. Okay. No, I don't want to give you my email address, bro. Charlie Kirk Show store. Okay, maybe we'll go there. No. Shop. Let's go to shop. Tees. Yeah, tees. Nothing with his face on it. Maybe bag up. Official TPUSA merch. Dude, it just keeps wanting my email. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. I'm not giving you my info, TPUSA. Mikey definitely knows something. I agree, Marie. Go Max, bro. Love your show. Thank you, Carl V. I appreciate it. Did somebody send me the possible merch? I think my wife did. Yeah, that's not of his face, though. That's of his hand holding the mic. Yeah, I reported that earlier. I want to make sure that... yeah, so it's not of his face, but it is of his hand. And it is of his hand. Actually, I'm not going to show that picture because I actually have a... Wait, screen sharing was canceled. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's because I didn't want to do it that way. Let me do it this way. Let me go to X. Let me go to bookmarks because I have it on here. Bing, 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 bing. There it is. There it is. Down. Looks pretty similar to me. Look at his finger. Look how he's holding his thumb, his finger. Da, 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 da. Almost looks identical. Obviously, the mic head is different, but they could have just changed the mic head. This is a rounded mic head. This is like a more oval mic head. But it definitely looks pretty similar to me. So, yes. All right, guys. Pray, fingers crossed, I don't have to edit this video. If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor. Hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way to help support this channel. You can also write a comment under the video once it posts. Give it an emoji. Hype it for free. Hit the hype points, please. Other than that, I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I am exhausted and starving. So until tomorrow, love you guys. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye. God bless. Christ is King.